All right, it is Tuesday night in Tooney Town, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for the fastest rising pro wrestling live stream podcast on the internet today. It is time for Tooney Talk Wrestling. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster, and I am thrilled to be able to bring you guys another evening of wrestling talk. I know that a lot of you are waiting with bated breath because the Headlock Headlines are done. They are up on Patreon right now for insiders and FDMs. They will be up for Smart Marks on Thursday, and they will be up for the general public consumption on YouTube Tuesday morning. And that will be at, I believe, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I set up a premiere for it. So, but tonight, for every $200 that we make in Super Chats, we will be showing you a 2-minute clip. So I have 3 clips ready to go, and I think they're pretty good. So, you know, if we make that money, you'll see some clips, and so it's a fun preview. Yeah. Oh, so you guys, this show is made for you and funded by you. We do appreciate your generous super chats. They do help us keep the lights on around here, especially because most of these videos get demonetized, and I've kind of just stopped trying. So, you know, the way this channel makes money is through super chats, through live streams, through podcast episodes like this, and we do break for $50 or more. So if you send in a super chat of $50 or more, we do stop what we're doing, like right now, where Pete Piero just sent in $49.99 and said, "It's not Halloween, it's spring, and we want some Headlock Headlines. Make it happen, Jobber Monster." Well, it's going to happen, my friend. It's happened already. A couple people are already enjoying it over on Patreon, and you just pushed us up the ladder to hopefully have a couple of clips. So, yeah, let's these wrote Headlock Headlines, though. That would probably be the adult parody. Guys, I can't do all of this by myself. I need my crack team with me, who are not on crack, mostly because Awful's not here tonight. Was that racist to say Awful was on crack?
I was more fixated on the Headlock Headlines.
Yeah. Maybe it's about the Bushwhackers.
Okay.
See, we made it wholesome. We brought it around. Full circle. There you go. Made it work.
We wear pretty dresses for our mommies.
The sheep herders.
I know. Isn't that incredible? You took this extremely violent tag team, and then you turned them into window-looking, just good boys. Window-looking good boys. Yeah, for sure. Buy dressies for their mommies.
Mm-hmm. But of course, guys, we can't play his theme song because we get copyright struck for it. But it's this.
I never wanted
it's this
to be licked by a man so much in my life than when I was a kid and the Bushwhackers were around.
Oh, see, no, that was actually that would have been a deterrent. No, you're here. I hear you now. That would have been a deterrent to me to go to see the show. I'd be like, I don't want to go to that show. Those Australian men might lick me, and I don't want that. So, so you want a delay or something?
No, we'd always
okay.
we got. Oh, am I? Okay, hang on, I'll fix it.
I think you're all right now.
Hang on. Oh, okay.
No,
I was gonna say when I was younger, I could get it wasn't hard to get front row seats to like a WWE house show or something like that, and I would always try to get the Bushwhackers' attention, and unfortunately, I never had the privilege of being licked by 40-year-old.
Did you see that little kid out in the thing? He wanted us to lick him. What kind of perverted little prat is that?
As desperate for it, he is.
I also always wanted. I would have signs to tear up. Like I'd want the heels to tear up my sign. That was a big thing back then. Remember, the bad guys would always tear up your sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd always, whenever I had a sign and the heels were coming out, I'd throw it in their face to try to get them to tear it up, but they never
would. Excuse me. Question 2. Do you think did the Bushwhackers lick kids? Because I feel like that wouldn't go over well today.
Oh, it was a different time. They did lick kids.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that in mind, we got some super chats to get to. Let's see how quickly we can get up to that first $200 mark to see our first clip from Headlock Headlines. Chef Eddie for $5 says the Gunther versus McAfee match is just a setup for Goldberg. I think I would probably agree with you on that. I could totally see that happening. I mean, I love every Goldberg minute. At this point, though, I'd rather see Goldberg versus Sami Zayn for reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Just the intensity of that spear. My God.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Sad Sammy indeed. Regina Sharp checking in for $5 says, if The Rock refers to Seth as Superman, does this mean we're seeing the Injustice version now? Oh, and Glum Gold, Glum Gold, Glum Gold, Glum Gold. Injustice Superman. The one time I ever thought evil Superman worked was Injustice. Mostly because the way it ends is good Superman, our Superman shows up and beats the crap out of him. You and Kimmy for $5 says, who has the biggest ego between The Rock and Glomgold? Oh, it's The Rock. Glomgold's not in Hollywood, so
unfortunately, Glomgold doesn't have theme music for his theme music.
Yeah. Let's see. Blazing Bolts for $5. What's up, guys? I'm still at work. Just show my support 100%. Thank you, Blazing Bolts. We appreciate it. We love the support. Chef Eddie for $5 says Paul Heyman doing TikTok videos with Daniela Chavez like he's Ric Flair in Evolution 2.0. Oh my goodness. I saw like Paul was like, me and my new fiance. I was like, he's kidding, right? It's like I didn't know if Paul got divorced or what, but if Paul's actually dating young models, then there's officially no justice in this world.
It's all a work, Marv.
This business is all a work. Everything's a work. Even The Rock saying it's a work is a work. Now I don't know where to go. JPS for $2 says, what the hell's a super chat? Every chat that I give is super, jobber monster. Redosaurus for $5 says, let's say Becky does join her husband Seth in Heyman's new stable. Will we see a fourth person joining in? If so, who? I think they need a tag team. I always believe every stable needs a tag team.
I don't know. If it's going to be a full stable, yeah. But part of me just thinks
it's just going to be Seth and Braun.
I think that's the way it should. I think let me rephrase that. I think they need to add somebody to bump for Seth because Braun can't bump for Seth. Braun can't be the guy who takes the beatings, right? So you need somebody that can do that. So, that's why I said last week, like maybe Omos or something in there.
Sammy.
Somebody who could actually lose. Because Sammy turning on Jay is a foregone conclusion at this point. So I think that's what's going to happen here. And then, because Braun's the end game and he's going to have to eventually roll over Seth. And it won't make Braun look too good in the process if he's constantly taking the beatings that Seth is, would be taking. So you got to have one more. But if you make it too big, then it becomes like what they tried to do with Heyman when he had like Ryback and Curtis Axel. Being with Paul Heyman needs to be special. And if you start adding more people and give him a full stable, that stops being special. Like even in the Bloodline, he was not with the Usos. He was with Roman Reigns.
How big was the Dangerous Alliance back in the day? It was a few people, right?
That was big, but that was different.
I don't remember.
It was a different Paul Heyman. It was a totally different character, Paul Heyman's the star maker now. That's not what he was back then. So,
let's see. All be amazing, Ted. All be booty bitches and bacon with big boobies. Says the AEW sicko is really pissing me off. What AEW sicko? Is there an AEW sicko in the chat?
Just all of them in general, I think.
I mean, he said singular.
Yeah, I don't see any in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
We'll get rid of them. No, we don't. We don't ban people for liking AEW.
We don't do that. We don't ban people unless they get abusive to our fine listening audience.
Or if they ask about headlines too much. Then we'll
yeah. Listen, but you know what? Like, right after I finish the headlines, dude, it's like this calm settles over me because I'm like, all right, start the clock. start the clock before they all start asking for it again.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. It was last time.
Forever runner for 4. That one really pissed me off because I had just given them 2. One of which was a Christmas special in verse. So
yeah. Oh, real quick, it did make you sound like when you said that one really pissed me off. You went back to the previous super chat. We're not talking about you, big booty B word.
Oh no,
big. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the ones who bother Marv.
Yeah. No. You're wonderful. I always love your avatars. Forever Runner for $4.99 says, Sean, I got an idea for a new stable. It'll have JD, Lyra, Finn, Pete Dunne, and Ivy in it. We'll call it the Lollipop Guild. Mostly because I lick them like the Bushwhackers.
Oh gosh.
It has nothing to do with their height. It's
I get a high when I lick them. They're like those toads. Oh, it's in here, Jack.
Somebody get Brock Lesnar a cell phone, quick.
Oh God. Oh, John Williams 199 goes, that bald bastard's not touching Sammy.
Sammy.
Liquid Fox for $2. So when's the next Headlock Headlines? When you pull it out of your butt. How about that, Liquid Fox?
Please.
No, I love Liquid Fox. We're at that point. We're cool. Regina Sharp for 5 says, wait, Tony doesn't have an AEW sicko mascot yet? Somehow I'm disappointed. That is true. It feels like that would be something he would do.
What would the sicko look like?
I don't know. 525.
Is it like Neckbeard's avatar?
Yeah.
The cartoon version.
All right, so that's 93. And then the 5.
I had I got bored a couple days ago and I had AI write a Headlock headline script. Chat GPT.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, well, I was just like, wow, I couldn't fall asleep.
Did you feed it a script first?
You had just sent me the songs. Well, no, I fed it what Headlock Headlines was, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
I fed it all the information, and it was awful. It was absolutely. It was just
no, you can't. Here's the thing. AI can do a lot. It cannot be funny yet.
There's a funny joke in using AI and showing how bad it is, but the problem is that it goes on way too long and it stops being funny. It's not worth the joke, because it was you sitting there and you would read a headline and then Triple H would, and they actually had the kind of cadence and attitude of each puppet down a little bit. I was kind of surprised.
That's kind of cool.
But it was like Triple H would make a joke, and then Tooney Town would make a joke, and then Dave would be like, what about me? And then it would just move on to the next thing. And it did that.
Yes, it is formulaic. I try to shake up the formula once in a while, but here's the thing about it. You have to hit the points or people get mad. So like I remember there was one time where I forgot to put the dinner me in it, and people were like, what the hell is this? Is his catchphrase just done now? You already given up on that? And I'm like, no, I forgot. Like, so I gotta make sure I get that in. I gotta get the TK song in. I gotta, I gotta get all I gotta get the Sean. But like, even in ones where like that's not gonna be the way he exits, I still have to get the Sean in somewhere else because I know people will get mad if I don't. So that's what happened with this episode, because there's a different way that Trip leaves in this episode. So I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I write down when to get the Sean.
If you missed Tooney touching his nose during his intro, you'd get at least 100 people unsubscribed from you. I guarantee it.
It's very possible. Let's see. Winged Moonlight checking in for $2, bringing us to the $100 mark, which makes us halfway to our first clip. Says, thankful you're on. Much love to you as well, Winged Moonlight. Liquid Fox for $2 says, that was for last night on TPP. Scream simp my butt. Yeah, I called him a Trish simp last night. Jokingly. But well, I know. Honestly, I forgot that it happened because for Liquid Fox, the night that Marvin Movie Monster called him a simp was the biggest night of his life. But for me, It was Tuesday. I'm sorry, I just wanted to do that one. I don't have that clip like Jonas does. No, I love Liquid Fox. He's a good guy. All right, so we're $102, so we are $98 away from our first clip.
Why is my phone going off?
I don't know.
I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is.
Uh-oh.
It's all the way over
there. Apollo's expressions kill me every time.
Okay. So, by the way, before we get started in the show proper, I have a thing I have to talk about. I believe in Joe Hendry now. Like, I saw the WrestleMania match, and I was like, everybody always talks about this guy. And I thought that Randy did real well by him. I think somebody said, legend killer to legend maker. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, because so I saw him and I liked him and I loved the reaction that he got. And so then I went down a rabbit hole. And now my wife is now a fan of Joe Hendry because she saw me watching the music video of his song and was just like, that guy's hysterical. And I was like, yeah. And so I went down like the TNA has, and this is good on TNA. Like they just released it right after WrestleMania, an omnibus of just like all of Joe Hendry's TNA stuff. It's like a 2-hour video. And so I sat down and I watched like the whole thing. And were you there the night? What was that?
I was saying the AJ Francis one is one of my favorite Joe Hendry.
Oh yeah. Yes. She's a champion is a brilliant parody.
I also really like the band from Diving.
Yeah. The AJ stuff. Yes. Yeah. They're all good. They're all good. He's fantastic. Yeah. Was I there the night that what?
That he won the title.
No, I was not.
Okay.
It's funny because I think Joe Hendry kind of hit the same time you did with your parodies, your song parodies. Mm-hmm. And I remember like sending the Joe Hendry ones to you, and you almost seemed like, I don't want to see this schmuck. Like it was like competition at that point because
because I probably thought it was another YouTuber or something like that. I probably didn't know it was a wrestler.
Yeah, because Hendry hadn't taken off yet, and you had just hit with the Jericho thing, so it seemed like it was. So I just gave up on trying to get you into Joe Hendry at that point.
Well, no, when it comes to people that do things kind of like within my sphere, I tend to not watch them because then I might subconsciously take something.
I don't listen to podcasts. When I do a wrestling podcast. Yeah, same.
But yeah, no, I thought he was great. So, but I asked you guys in our group chat, I was like, guys, can he, like, because I hadn't seen a match yet, I was like, can he work, or is this just the entrance? And from what I found, and from what you guys told me as well, he is respectable in the ring. He's solid. He's not bad. He's not like and then the bell had to ring guy, but he's also not like, oh my God, it's mostly the meme, and it's a very good meme.
Yeah, I mean, he's capable of more than he does currently. He seems to be one of those guys that knows what he has to do to get over and does those things. Like that, I made the comparison to John Cena with you personally. He works a lot like John Cena in the sense that if he's wrestling someone who is really like when he was wrestling Josh Alexander, he was in there having really good matches. But when he's wrestling Dolph Ziggler, he's doing what he needs to do for a Dolph Ziggler match. You know what I mean? Like he can be what he needs to be when he needs to be it.
So for me, what I'm trying to think of like how I wanted to put what I was about to say. He apparently John Cena must see the same thing in him that you said there, just because apparently every interview he does, he talks about how like Cena like comes up to him backstage and talks to him about stuff. And like, giving him advice and things that I assume John Cena doesn't do that for just everybody.
Well, so at some point, Joe Hendry asked John Cena, he said he wanted to have a match with John Cena. And John Cena said, I'm not going to give you that, but if you earn it, then I respect that. And Joe Hendry has made it his mission for the past year to get a match with John Cena. And according to Bully Ray, John Cena loves that. Like he is very, and that's part of the reason that Randy Orton picked him to be his opponent at WrestleMania. It's part of the reason that when in 2026, when his contract's up, he has a, express trip to Stanford right there. Like he's going straight over.
Oh, it's 2026 when his contract. Well, they're going to have him on NXT the whole year anyway.
Right. So
yeah, if they don't buy it out first.
Yeah. But while we're on the subject, skipping ahead a little bit here, we do need to talk about just, I said it when we were watching when I realized the subtle brilliance of what Randy was doing out there. And I said, man, people out there who are idiots, who do not understand wrestling, are going to think that Randy buried him. And I was right. At no time in history would a promotion of any size have allowed Randy Orton squashing Joe Hendry, but TNA itself positions itself as a company constantly looking for discarded crumbs from WWE and figures anything to keep an open relationship is good for exposure. TNA agreed to it, which is in a sense showed how desperate they really are, because no strong company would have done so. You mean like when TNA fed its champion to Kenny Omega and then never got a receipt like that?
Well, let's look at the first line. At no other time in history would a promotion of any size have allowed their champ, whatever. How about when Taz did it after winning the ECW title to Triple H on SmackDown, or when Taz fought Mike Awesome while he was contracted to WWE. Like
he beat Mike Awesome in 3 minutes.
Yeah, he beat Mike Awesome in 3 minutes, and then he turned around and lost to Triple H on SmackDown a couple days later.
The quick win was one thing, but the second RKO after the match did leave you with the idea that the guy is the level of or below a WWE prelim guy. No, that's Randy Orton. It's you don't turn your back on a snake. Stone Cold Steve Austin would have done the same thing.
And Stone Cold... The mistake by Joe Hendry makes sense. The story of the match was Joe Hendry was blinded by WrestleMania. He got in there and he wanted to get it in, right? He wanted to get his spot in, and it cost him. And that's the story. And that's all they told. It was real simple. It was real easy. No one got hurt by it. It was a mistake, and maybe he'll have his day later. But losing to Randy Orton in Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania is by no means a bad thing. Okay, Kevin Owens was going to lose to Randy Orton.
Right.
Well, and don't forget, we're ignoring that. The guy got a hero's welcome from 66,000 people. We're not going to try to count how many people were watching on Netflix and Peacock and whatever else they were watching on.
Oh, but it wasn't in the top 10 of Netflix, even though it didn't air on Netflix in America.
Yeah. Randy helps him up, treats him like a respected peer, puts him over to the crowd, and then RKOs him again.
Yeah, that's what.
But the only image you're getting now when you look at this match is Randy Orton holding his arm up triumphantly, telling everybody to pay attention to this guy.
I want to know what Randy said to him in the ring after the match, because he did something where he was like pointing at his chest and like pointing at the people, and I couldn't read his lips well enough, but he said something to him and Hendry didn't repeat it on Ariel Helwani when he did that show. But I mean, I think when he was on Helwani, he was like, if this is me being buried, like I'd like it to continue.
Well, Drew put him over on right after
Drew always puts him over.
Loves him. Yeah, the Drew instead of the blue. You heard that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. But Drew put him over. Triple H put him over in the WrestleMania press conference. You don't. In the end, when they did the video package on SmackDown for WrestleMania, one of the clips they included was not only Joe Hendry doing his little smile in the middle of the ring, but they also included the part where Triple H put him over at the press conference. How is this a bad thing for Joe Hendry?
Exactly.
Because Dave is a short-sighted idiot. Because I guarantee you Tony wanted him.
Yeah.
Tony wanted him, and Tony is furious.
Oh yeah, Tony did turn him down. Tony did turn him down.
Yeah,
oh, did he?
Get him.
He
turned him down.
He was working for Ring of Honor when Tony bought it. Just like
Tony
Delirious.
let him go. Oh,
Tony let him go. Tony let Delirious go. Yep. And
that's interesting.
So he was working, and that's why he couldn't sign for a while with anyone else, because he had that contract with Ring of Honor. It took him he had to
sit out the ROH contract.
Yeah, it took him 4 or 5 months to start working in TNA after that.
My favorite thing is when people call him an overnight sensation. And it makes you see Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre and all of the UK indie guys laugh whenever anyone says that. They're like, he's been doing this for 15 years.
And he's a
Drew McIntyre called him the overnight 15-year sensation.
Yeah. He's a national amateur wrestling champion also over in England or Scotland, one of them. And he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, this guy's been around. He stopped wrestling for 2 years to become
you got like the Matt facts about it. Like, Matt does not like mustard.
Max did a school report on him.
He really?
Yeah. So I had
has Max seen him? Has he seen him? He saw him live at TNA, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did he go? Did he go nuts?
Oh yeah, we got the shirt. He was all for it. And by the way, Joe Hendry was doing a really cool storyline at that point too, where I guess he got his knee injured the night before, so he decided that he was going to wrestle anyway. It was a good. Joe Hendry's good. That's all I gotta say.
I have never bought a single thing from WWE Shop ever in my life. Like, or WWE Shop Zone, whatever it used to be called. I bought the Joe Hendry WrestleMania shirt because I was like, yeah, guy's good. He's the first guy to make me like, I don't know. Him and Cody are kind of like the two that kind of made me like want to start watching wrestling again Cody when I started up again, and Hendry is kind of like rekindled my love for it because I just kept watching his entrance at WrestleMania and trying to put myself in his shoes. And imagine how it must have felt when he had his back to the crowd and that door opened, the music hit, and 65,000 people lost their ever-loving mind.
Yep. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that was cool.
He's gone through like so many generations of himself already. Like, if you go back and watch his Ring of Honor stuff, where he was doing the parody songs, but he was doing it as a heel. And being snarky about it, and they had a whole thing where they would literally do a thing where he would show up anywhere that anyone said his name, so he would just show up in hospital rooms and stuff he's gone through so much progression.
TNA did those did these vignettes when he first showed up, where it was like the guy was like the girl's like, the baby's not your you're not the father. And he's like, who is? Say his name. And then it was he'd pop up like anyone. Yeah, so Joe Hendry can beat Jon Moxley in a fight. Well, yeah, anyone can beat Jon Moxley in a fight.
I would love to see that. Now, wouldn't that be the funniest thing ever if Joe Hendry had a shoot fight with Jon Moxley?
Oh my God, I would never cheer harder in a shoot fight ever in my life. Let's see, that was another by last call podcast there, so it's been 2 1 2. All right, let me get to some more super chats before we move on. Let's see, I did that one already. Chef Eddie for $5 says, we prefer the term tritionaries, Marv. Thank you very much. Yes, I coined that phrase mostly for merchandising purposes. Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says, did you know that All In is the longest pay-per-view of the year? Be a real shame to have to watch that scrum. So when is the next Facelock feature? LMAO. Oh my gosh.
My God.
The All In, by the way, All In, like, it's gonna be it might even go up to 1,200 for All In because that show's gonna be so long.
You know what? All In last year was actually not bad because remember they had that curfew thing where they had to end it early. So we actually only had 3.5 hours. So it wasn't too bad.
Did we watch it? Did we watch it live?
We watched last year's. We didn't watch the previous one, but we did watch last year's live. Yeah. Now this year it's in Texas, and I'm pretty sure Texas doesn't have curfews. So
but they've sold 13,500 tickets for it in 4 months since it's been on sale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's kind of a mess.
AEW is not AEW is not doing great, guys. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, they're the second most profitable.
Come on, this is gonna be the highest attended show for the year. How dare you?
You name any other promotion that could draw 13,000 people in the U.S.
I think Tony switched from like whatever he was doing before to he openly does marijuana now. And once again,
I'm sure he's doing both.
I'm a proponent for marijuana, but his shows have really become boring since he's been smoking, since he's publicly been smoking pot.
Yeah, man. So, tournament, man.
Like, at least before, it was bad in like a stupid, weird way that you could at least watch and be like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. But now it's just bad in a I don't want to watch this, I want to turn it off way. And that's not nearly as fun. It's kind of like
that's the thing I've noticed, like in a lot of the watch alongs that we've done, I've just been bored.
Yeah.
We've been bored by the show, bored by the wrestlers, bored by the stories, everything. Let's see. John Williams for 199 says Freudian slip there, Dave. It's one of the things that he said. Yeah. Dead X Man 616 for $5 says, just an update. The guy who sacked me has been sacked. Trish, help me up onto his casket so I can dance on it.
Olsen, help me up onto his casket so I can dance on it.
Gosh, it's amazing. Good. I'm glad that happened. Last Call podcast for $5 is AEW fans claim Joe Hendry wouldn't fit in AEW. Reason number 1,248 why that company is doomed. They prefer Darby Allin over a guy who is a star. Just
my gosh, that made me think of this. Okay, so earlier during the draft, Seth Rollins and Jimmy Uso both got to make draft picks, right? And there was no AEW wrestlers anywhere to be seen. We didn't.
Were there last year though?
There weren't, but Tony was on ESPN. So
he was not, and he was not this year.
He was not this year. Last year,
he called WWE Harvey Weinstein last year. There was no way they were putting him on TV again.
Right. I saw the craziest cope I've ever seen, and it was somebody told me that Tony would never have his wrestlers doing making draft picks, because all that does is make them look like NFL super fans, and he doesn't want his wrestlers to just look like fans. He wants his wrestlers to look like stars.
Oh my gosh.
Seth and Jimmy look like NFL superfan dorks because they actually made draft picks for the 49ers and the Bears, but his wrestlers don't look like dorks because they weren't invited to do so.
Well, no, my wrestlers can't look like dorks, who like football. I'd rather just have Will Ospreay come out dressed like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. The NFL clearly is choosing WWE. They sell their belts on the NFL website. It's not hard to see why they're doing that.
You're gonna have Will Ospreay show up looking like a gayer Elton John at the NFL. I don't know.
Like, seriously though, how did he not at least just bring Swerve up to do a Jacksonville pick or something?
Well, yeah, that would make sense. But again, no one gives a shit about AEW. Well, they would have been like, who's this?
I legitimately think, guys, that they are at a point where after last year, with the way he mouthed off about WWE after the NFL had just signed that big deal with them, and ESPN works with them as well. There's no way they were like, we're not letting this clown back on TV.
Yeah. And so
Disney I don't care what his dad owns. He's not getting on TV anymore with a live mic where he's gonna just bash our new merchandising partner. What were we saying, Dis?
I say so Disney sends the Avengers after him.
Well, yeah, apparently. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says, you're still my favorite YouTube channel. Banter is fun. It is fun. No, at no point did I think you were actually upset with me, Liquid Fox. Don't worry. If I did, then I would have gone into Discord and yelled at you. Juan Alacan for $5 says, what's falling harder, AEW ratings or Shedeur Sanders NFL draft stock? What is that?
That's
NFL is racist. That's what that is.
Well, the Giants would rather not have anybody than have someone throw the ball who's melanated.
Yeah, Marv.
We've known that for a while.
I'll try to help Marv out. Marv, do you remember Deion Sanders?
I know the name.
Okay, he was.
No. The answer is going to be no.
What if I said Bo Jackson? Would that help?
I mean, I know Bo Jackson because of Tech. I know Bo Jackson, but because of Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson.
In Super Tecmo Bowl, it was Deion Sanders.
Oh, okay.
So that's his father. And people expected his son to do very well in the draft, and he did not. And people are saying it's because the NFL is racist. So that's your.
Oh, okay. Well, to close out this one, I love that people are requesting that one now because it's my favorite. All right, moving along. All right, what should we move? Should we move on to the Rock on with the busted open thing?
That's from last week, so I think maybe it's a good idea. Kind of carry it over.
Yeah. All right, so should we play this clip first, or do we play, or we show what the Rock said on Instagram first?
Do the clip first.
Do the clip first. Yeah.
Okay.
Professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling because it's unlike any form of entertainment or sport. I'm passionate about it because I dive into it, and it's not about, oh, it's real to me, damn it. But man, it is. It is. You guys put your bodies on every time you step into a wrestling ring. You're putting your health and your body on the line. It's no more real than that. That's as real as it could possibly be. So when you say it's a work, I don't need to be reminded. I know that. I'm trying to fight that off from everybody outside of our.
I think this clip comes after the.
No. Okay.
No.
So let's give context.
Okay.
Let's give context. So Rock did the Pat McAfee interview last week.
Yeah.
This was after the Pat McAfee interview where Rock said that wrestling is a work and, you don't have to blah, blah, blah. Like this was Dave's rant.
Yeah.
Because remember, Rock said, just,
Okay.
We'll take you on a ride and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
during
let the Rock take you on the story he's taking you on.
Yeah. Dave had a mega epic rant Monday morning, and then Rock went on McAfee, said what he said, and then this is Dave's response to that.
Oh, this
Okay.
is wait. This is Dave's response to. I thought this was before it. This isn't the epic rant.
No, I don't think.
On Dave's Twitter, it said it was, but okay. Anyway, he says basically, then do the Rock thing first. Let's pull the Rock thing up then.
I might be wrong. I'm jumping.
Let's just let people do the best.
Circle. I don't need somebody inside the circle who sits at the highest mountain in this business, which is the WWE, to tell me it's not real.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is. All right. So after LaGreca's huge rant after WrestleMania, The Rock goes, "Hi, Dave. The business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it, every match, every interview. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussions so you can expand your perspective." Oh my God, you condescending bastard. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. P.S. Tell Bubba I've got Grand Marnier and Hush Puppies for all of us.
No. So to give a little context, though, this is LaGreca's 50-second "I hate the Rock" rant since last year's WrestleMania.
All right, when he went on that Cody crusade.
Yeah.
We should kind of break this. We should kind of break this down a little bit too, because he does not mention Triple H in that.
Okay.
Join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussion.
You mentioned Brian.
Yeah, he mentioned Brian.
Of course, he mentions Finster. Make me a storyline.
Didn't mention
into
Triple
the
H.
story. Into the story, Matic they go. Yes, my queen. Gosh. All right, so go ahead, Des. Walk us through.
No, I'm saying he did not mention Triple H.
Did not mention Triple H.
He said Cody, Cena, and Brian. Brian, of course, being Brian Gewirtz, which all leads back to what we were talking about last week about how it seems like he's buried him. But The Rock is really on a kick of telling everyone, "Hey guys, it's fake. Don't worry about it." And I have no idea why he's decided that this has to be his mission in life all of a sudden.
Well, and now in every interview that he does, he talks about it like it's a movie.
Yeah. It's almost like it's like the dude can't get a job writing a movie. So he feels like he has to show his creative. Why does he have to be creative? Why does everybody have to be creative?
I'm telling you, it is, it is, he tried to take over the DC universe. It didn't work. The Rock learned that his power in Hollywood is not as powerful as he thought it was. He got cast out of the DC universe, and now WWE is his DC universe, where he could do whatever he wants and no one will tell him no.
Until he can seize an Oscar.
Yes. Right now, Cody is his Henry Cavill. All right, so now let's listen to LaGreca's
As I said, he's going to steal
Let's
10 years, 10 years of Cody's life.
Yeah.
And then cost him the greatest job ever.
I love professional wrestling because it's unlike any form of entertainment or sport. I'm passionate about it because I dive into it, and it's not about, oh, it's real to me, damn it. But man, it is. It is. You guys put your bodies on every time you step into a wrestling ring. You're putting your health and your body on the line. It's no more real than that. That's as real as it could possibly be. So when you say it's a work, I don't need to be reminded. I know that. I'm trying to fight that off from everybody outside of our circle. I don't need somebody inside the circle who sits at the highest mountain in this business, which is the WWE, to tell me it's not real. I already know that. I know that it's not real. But let me buy into the magic that is professional wrestling. So when you say it's a work and that it's fake, then what are we doing here? Then what are we doing? The reason I rant and rave like I do is because I'm passionate about it. I didn't like what I saw at the end of WrestleMania 41.
Well, let's be real, Dave. You also rant and rave the way you do because it gets clicks and people talk about it like we're doing right now. So
it's true. This is Dave's passion project, though. This is like
I think the reactions are 75% real, and he turns it up 25%.
Here's the only thing. The only thing about Dave is that when it's about Cody, he always seems to be way more real than when it's about anything else.
Yeah.
And this initially was about Cody. I do think he cranks it up, but we crank it up. You know, I mean, that's kind of just a thing you do when
it's showmanship.
It's not just on podcasts, when you're hanging out with your friends, when you're, telling a story to your kid, whatever, you always kind of crank it up. It's what you do. But he's right in the aspect of if we're just all going to fall on it's fake, then what are we doing here?
Yep.
Right? And I want to point out something that Neckbeard said to us recently. And by the way, shout out AEW Neckbeard, producer, wise man of this show, who we could not do it without, and we love him very dearly. He said to us in private, he said, The Rock is the WWE's Chris Jericho now. But like a worse version, like a more powerful version. Like Jericho thinks he's a creative and injects himself into everything. But thankfully, The Rock takes longer breaks than Jericho. Like, the Rock wakes from the Odin sleep, like, once a year around WrestleMania time and comes to feed on all the heat. But yeah, I agreed though. And I think Brian Last ended up saying it too, that Beard said Brian Last said it now too. Yeah. He is to WWE what Chris Jericho is to AEW. And obviously Jericho is a much smaller star than The Rock, but AEW is a much smaller company than WWE. So it all kind of makes sense.
I think we're done with the clip, by the way.
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay.
What were you saying?
I would like more to Hogan. Not so much WCW Hogan, but like it's maybe TNA Hogan. Like just
well, he full on was in charge in TNA, so
yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Just like if my Cowboys lose or my Yankees lose, I'm going to rant and rave about that. Doesn't mean I hate it. It's because
I'm sorry, the Cowboys and the Yankees, that is a really weird team, two teams to have.
It is. It's
not really.
Yeah, it's not. If you lived in a town that didn't have a professional sports team in the 90s, those are two teams that they flock to. So
yeah,
okay.
It's a New York starter jacket thing.
Mm-hmm.
Love it that I get so passionate I yell and scream about it. Don't tell me it's a work. I don't need you to tell me. That's supposed to be from Dick or Jane down the street that doesn't like professional wrestling. They're the ones that tell me it's a work and that it's fake, not somebody within the business. Believe in the magic. It's the magic that makes people buy a ticket to go see WrestleMania or sit on their ass for 3 hours to watch a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown because it's real to them. They don't need to be reminded that it's fake. So all due respect, Rock, all due respect, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, I appreciate what you done for me and for this business, but what you put in that response, I felt was wrong. And it hurt me. It actually, I'm not angry about it. I'm actually hurt and disappointed with the response.
You know what? I think look,
Dave.
Yeah, I think LaGreca's dead on there because you know, The Rock grew up in wrestling, so The Rock, I don't think ever. The Rock has a different perspective on wrestling than the average wrestler or fan, because The Rock never believed in it. You know, when growing up, he was always on the inside. His grandmother was a promoter. His father was a worker. You know, as you learn from watching the 100% accurate documentary series Young Rock, where you know, he never, I don't know if The Rock ever experienced that magic other than the way a wrestler would experience it, where it's like, wow, that was good business, or, you know, that was really cool. But The Rock never had that thing where, like, you know, it was always a thing for him. So I don't know. I don't think that you guys get what I'm trying to say. I don't think I'm saying it very well.
Wrestling is The Rock's fallback, right?
Yeah.
It always was.
Yeah.
He didn't succeed in football, so he became a wrestler. That's what, you know, so it never, he's not like, because
unfair.
Well, no, because okay, look at Cody. Cody's a guy who came up in the business, but he's still about protecting it to an extent. He doesn't want to destroy it the way.
I'll tell you, but
wrestling is Cody's fallback. Yeah, Cody's fallback too.
Cody wanted to be an actor.
No. I know, but that's why I'm saying is that we need to. It doesn't. The analogy of saying he just came up in the business doesn't really work, because Cody also came up in the business. So there has to be something else that did it. And, you know, I think.
Well, but now so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Hollywood.
Cody did watch it like a fan, though, because famously Dusty never smartened him up when he was a kid.
You're right.
Have you ever heard the story about when Dusty joined the NWO and Cody was crying at home because he thought his father really like, you know, became an evil guy?
Yeah. Maybe it is.
He's on the phone with Dusty being like, say it ain't so, Dad. And he's like, this is just something I gotta do.
So do you think The Rock goes to Cody and he's like, you get it. You were the son of a promoter. You came up in the business. Do you think he actually does feel a connection to Cody?
I don't think The Rock feels that anyone is his peer anywhere, let alone in wrestling.
I think maybe John Cena.
No, because John Cena is still below him in Hollywood.
I don't know anymore.
I think, and I'm just kind of going off of something that Cena said, that they probably have a little bit more of a kinsmanship now because Cena understands where The Rock was coming from.
Right.
And I think The Rock helped him get some jobs. So now that Cena's kind of on his own, you know, he probably sees him as a peer. I think with Cody, I think The Rock sees an opportunity to groom someone, and if he gets to take him away from Hunter, it's that much sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
You and Cumia is right though in the chat. His peer is Vince.
Yeah,
yes.
That's who he sees. That's who his peer is.
Listen, at the end of the day, we got to remember too, when they were talking about selling the company, one of the prevalent rumors is that The Rock was going to buy it with a conglomerate. So at the end of the day, it kind of sort of happened without happening.
Yeah.
Right? Because Ari and Nitcom were probably most likely going to be a part of that conglomerate. At the end of the day, The Rock gets, you know, one of the highest board seats a person can have and a massive check.
You know, I just looked into like net worth while we were talking about that. The Rock is worth $800 million. And John Cena is apparently has a net worth of $80 million.
No, he doesn't have a production company and stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So my question, okay, imagine a world, because I don't think this is outside the realm of possibility with the things that we've been seeing recently. I could see a situation where The Rock gets his way and he ends up being in charge. And I'm sure he wouldn't be like Triple H is, where he's very hands-on. It would probably be Brian Gewirtz. If that happened, because Triple H made a comment during the press scrum, and it was when he said, I love you, Vince. Right? Triple H has done everything he can to not mention Vince. And after WrestleMania, after that whole situation went down, he suddenly said, I love you, Vince. And it was kind of a passing comment. But to me, it almost seemed like him kind of saying, you know, I have options. Right? because the big rumor is that Vince has been going around trying to get people together to start a wrestling company.
Oh, please don't.
Now, my question would be, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I wouldn't be shocked if Vince wanted to get back in the movie business, but I do wonder, because this is a question I had for a friend who wasn't able to answer for sure, but we were wondering, do they all have non-competes with TKO if something happens? Because a buddy of mine did say, hey, it looks like these two aren't getting along when everybody thought they were getting along. There was I don't remember what show it was watching, but it was like, hey, when you watch, they go through the curtain and they're dabbing everybody up except for each other. And
who are you talking about?
Rocket Hunter.
Oh.
They're dabbing everybody up in the vicinity except for each other. And then when Hunter finally goes to do it, The Rock just walks past him like he was an apparition fading into the night. Just nope.
Do you think? Okay, if Triple H left WWE, do you think he would immediately drive down to Jacksonville and walk in that office and say, "Okay, kid, I'm in charge now"? Like, do you?
No.
Only if they bought it. Only if they bought it at a wholesale price and told Tony that he could sit in the creative room, but he needs to keep his mouth shut.
Could you imagine if Vince went to Shad and was like, here's $1 billion, give me your wrestling company and take it away from your son? Like, Tony's fit would be legendary. But
because you got to wonder what Triple H would do. You have to think he would stay in wrestling. You have to think he would find something. You don't think so?
No. So I think what Triple H would do if he ever left the WWE is he would be like, well, I'm 55 years old. I've got more money than God. I'm going to just enjoy the rest of my life.
But then why would he be fighting so hard? Because he's clearly fighting.
He cares about the WWE.
Okay.
He cares about the business. I do agree that.
Because he is making himself more prominent in WWE. He's doing that for a reason. He is making WWE tied to Triple H in fans' minds, so that if anything happens, that's the reason you bring your wife in and have her suddenly doing a television show and a podcast. That's the and it's.
I think that's more to do with her last name. You need to have, even though Vince is gone, right? But at the end of it, Vince sold the TKO. He got the Dana White deal, where he's still wholesale in charge. Doesn't matter what happened, you couldn't get rid of him. It was still his baby. It's just by virtue of just needing to leave that Vince isn't there. The WWE should always have a McMahon attached to it, while there's a McMahon available to be attached to it. It just happens to be that Stephanie is the one who the fans would respond to at this point in time. So her coming back, I think it's really more Stephanie's in a better place because her father isn't there and didn't drive her out. That now she wants to do more things, and it's she's kind of the one that people want to see. Because honestly, I think she's probably a little more interesting than Shane at this point. And Shane's still catching residual heat for having the inkling to go play in the mud. Whatever that was supposed to be, he went and played in the mud, and people are still a little annoyed about it.
Well, apparently Shane is not the bastion of sanity that we've all always thought he was. Apparently he's just as crazy, but in different ways. Apparently the reports that Shane wanted to go over on everybody in that Rumble and wanted to bump out Brock and everything are true. And Vince chose Brock over Shane. So
well, apparently if you want to go by something that our friend on Twitter, AEW Mole, kind of insinuated,
yes,
Shane was not looking for it to be talent in AEW. Shane only took the meeting because he is friends. Well, he was friends with Mercedes, number one. She set it up. And number two, if he had the opportunity to have ownership in AEW, he may have taken that. And
never have happened. Oh,
yeah,
could you imagine?
I mean, you take the meeting. You take the meeting, right? You take the meeting.
Well, I would say if Tony had half a brain, he should have accepted whatever the deal was.
I would have loved to have seen Shane in complete control at some point just to see what the show would have been like.
We got it. I think you saw Raw Underground, right?
Because I don't remember that.
I think that was fully under Shane's control.
I think Shane also would have been smart enough to hire certain people. I think you would have seen something that would have tried to be one night stand every night of the week until he would have realized it's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that what AEW is?
Yes.
No.
Trying to be one night stand every night of the week?
It's trying to be.
No. They're trying to be they're trying to be hardcore justice.
Okay.
It's gonna be hardcore justice.
Or are they trying to be one night stand and they're being hardcore justice?
Yes, they're trying to be one night stand.
No, guys, it's just PWG. That's all it is. We have
yes, it's just PWG. Yeah,
it's just PWG
without Mr. Belding.
Yeah, without Mr. Belding and Kevin Owens. It's all. That's what you get.
Oh my goodness!
AEW.
Right. No, I look. The Rock. If The Rock has anything else in his life that he can go do, The Rock will go do it, as opposed to being in wrestling. But every once in a while, he's got to just come around. By the way, I tried to watch an episode of NXT the other day just because, I really want to start watching it, and I turned it on, and the first thing I see is just his wretched daughter, and I turned it off. I was like, I can't watch this emotionless slab of wood just sit there and be like, my dad's worth $800 million, so I'm here.
I want to hear the conversation between Shawn and Triple H, where Triple H informed Shawn that he had to use her as the general manager of NXT.
Shawn, is how's Rocklet? How's Pebbles doing? Is she almost ready to be in the ring? Oh God, no. No, Jack.
Listen, we tried to put her in a cult that required you to wear a mask and not speak, and somehow it still didn't go right. How do you want me to do with her? See if she can float. I mean, see if she can float on live TV.
She's 2025 David Flair.
Yes. No, David Flair actually got in the ring.
I was going to say David Flair was kind of entertaining. She's 2025 Greg Gagne, maybe.
I heard Spike Dudley tell a story. Is a David Flair story. Spike Dudley told this story one time at a signing that I was at, and he said Crash Holly was when David Flair when Rick came over to WWE and they hired David for the developmental deal, just like a favor to him. He's on a house show working with Crash Holly, and they're in the ring, and Crash is like, all right, hey, put me in the figure 4 leg lock. And David Flair goes, I don't know how to do that. And Spike is like, but how do you not know? It's what you do. It's what you do when you're a wrestling fan. You put your brother in the figure 4. It's what you do. You're Ric Flair's son. That's exactly how he put it. And I will never, you're Ric Flair's son.
I like David Flair with Crowbar and Daphne. I actually enjoyed that stuff.
Well, Crowbar and Daphne were quality and they raised the ship.
Yeah. But nobody can raise, you know what? That's not true. Eric Young was able to make Rock's daughter watchable. That did happen. I will say that. So there's hope yet.
I saw her and then I saw Ricky Starks and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can just give Ricky Starks another chance because I know why he attacked me on Twitter. He attacked me specifically because he was trying to kiss ass and get on TV. I get it. So you know what? You get another chance, Ricky Starks.
He did what he was supposed to do to cash his paycheck.
If I can make peace with Top Dollar, you can make peace with Ricky Starks.
Wait, what's your heat with Top Dollar?
I don't know. He just started retweeting me all the time and making fun of me for like 2 weeks, and then he blocked me.
And you made peace with that?
He at the TNA show, he thought it was funny when I asked him to unblock me, and he gave me a thumbs up. He didn't unblock me, but I also didn't give him my name. So maybe
he also didn't. Yeah, he didn't know who you were.
Yeah, but he gave me a thumbs up. That's enough. Have you gotten a thumbs up from Ricky Starks yet?
No.
Okay, then.
Nor do I want one. I don't want to be in his vicinity.
AJ
All
Bryce
right.
is funny. He's a funny guy.
All right, but no, like she's cutting a promo with Stephanie Vacker, and this is from Vacor. She's cutting a promo with Stephanie Vacor, which is how I've heard that is said now. Stephanie Vacor and her cutting a promo where Stephanie Vacor relinquishes the North American title, and Ava's like, there will be a 6-woman ladder match at Stand and Deliver for this belt, and I'm like, oh, I'm falling asleep. Then, like, the other NXT ladies came out. Jordan Grace comes out, and there's a pull apart, and one of the guys is clearly some indie high flyer. The guy's got to be 2 heads taller than Jordan Grace, because you don't realize Jordan Grace is she is a juggernaut, but she is a very short juggernaut. Jordan Grace literally threw this guy, and he jumped over the top rope and like sailed halfway up the aisle, and I was like, what? It was fantastic. I had to rewind it and watch it like 4 more times. It was amazing.
That was a while ago.
Well, I went back to the beginning of April. Because I was like, oh, I'll just watch all of April, and then I was just like, oh gosh, like watching the forehead of Justice come out there and cut her promo. It was just like, ugh. She's 24, you evil monster. Well, that's what it's in the name. All right, super chat time. Let's get to some of what you guys have to say. Let's see. Pablo the Real One for $4.99 says, in Meltzer voice, why is Dwayne going back and forth with Sally Jesse Raphael? He kind of does. Oh, look, I'm sorry, Dave, but you kind of do look like Sally Jesse Raphael. Hold on.
Professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling because it's unlike any form of entertainment or sport. I'm passionate about it because I dive into it, and it's not about it's real
time. Sally Jesse Raphael for our fans of a certain age who have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. Sally Jesse Raphael was a woman who looked like Dave LaGreca. There you go. Renosaurus for $5 says, these lines from the Warp Zone's RIP DCEU video have aged quite well. We won't resolve post-credit scenes. Somehow The Rock suplexed our dreams. Yeah. I remember. I think I saw that one. Where it was Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman singing. That was actually really funny. They were singing, and now the end is near. Craig Churchill for $5 Canadian says, people know that RDJ and Josh Brolin are probably good friends, but sitting in the theater, Tony Stark hates Thanos. That is correct. John Williams for $49 says, Cody saw the Shockmaster fall and said, hey, I think that was Uncle Fred. Is that true? That's true, amazing. Yeah. Yes. Hey, I think that was Uncle Fred. God damn it, Fred. John Williams for $4.99 says, I would retire with an army of female Chinas by the beach. Oh man, I wasn't really someone put a side-by-side picture of her and Jade today, and Jordan Grace was like, please never do this again, because Jordan Grace comes up to Jade Cargill's armpit.
Yeah, she's wee.
But I mean, she's thicker than her. Like that woman could bench press me, I'm sure.
She's more of an Ivy Nile than a Jade Cargill.
David Carradine's Closet, one of my favorite names out there, for $20 Canadian. Thank you so much. As if Rock took over creative, get ready for Ava the Belt Collector. Oh no. No, you know what? I don't think so. I honestly don't think The Rock cares what she does or like what happens with her.
I think The Rock is aware of her limited skill set, and that's why she is where she is.
Mm-hmm. I was like, what happened? Let me guess. She tried to have a music career and you found out she couldn't sing.
Okay. So, they were like notoriously not around each other for a very long time before she got into NXT.
Yeah, they did one thing, right?
Yeah. So I think that this was more of a, The Rock trying to make a connection with his estranged daughter at some point.
Oh, do you think they're estranged? You don't think they live together?
Well, I mean, they didn't for a while. I know they didn't for a while. He talked about how he wasn't a good father. Like in his book, he wrote about how he wasn't a good father to her and stuff like that. So I think this is a lot of Rock trying to make amends.
Did he write another book, or was this the book that he wrote in the Attitude Era?
The previous book. He talked about how back then he wasn't a good father.
Oh, okay.
And the same one that he talked about where he about beating that girl up or whatever. So
I didn't hear that story, but okay.
Oh, he wrote about that in his book too. You didn't hear that?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Joseph J. Alexander for $2 says Ava is 2025 Nick Curry, Bull Curry, and Fred Curry. Uncultured Barbarian for God.
Sorry, I threw it in the group chat in the private chat for you.
Oh, okay. Uncultured Barbarian for 2 says Ava equals Brian Adias. Nah, he could work kinda. Dead X-Man 616 for $5 says I can buy Nick not being able to do the big boot and leg drop, but David not knowing the figure 4. How can you buy Nick not being able to do the big boot and leg drop? It's literally just picking up your leg.
Because he's little.
Yeah, because he's little.
Brooke
got all of the Hulkster's genes, and then Nick got all the shit and crap. He's like the Danny DeVito in Twins.
He's 90% Botox, and it all came from her into him.
When I met Hogan, I met Nick. By the way, he was line control at that show. He's looking good. He's looking healthy. That's good.
Does he have a lot of drive in him?
He looked healthy. That's all I will.
I just heard behind the wheel he's a real killer.
I like to hope that he has made it, that he is on the right path now. I'd like to think that.
All B booty bitches and bacon with big boobies for $2 says no fair. I like Pebbles. She cool. Like the character or the Rock's daughter? Like, are you sorry? Like, is your objection the fact that it's like we're besmirching the Flintstones character? That's kind of
either way, he's wrong.
So
Pebbles sucks. On both.
What's your heat with Pebbles?
They ever see that show where she was a teenager and she was dancing around with Bam Bam and that was
the Pebbles and Bam Bam show.
Yeah, that was dumb.
What about I Yabba Dabba Do, the animated movie where she marries Bam Bam?
Yabba Dabba Do.
Anything outside, it's like Scooby-Doo. Anything outside of the original series is terrible. And anybody who acts like it's not is ridiculous. Sorry.
I'm sorry. All right, by the way, guys, that brings us to $187.
It had to be said, Kev.
Wait, what?
Kevin took offense to my besmirching Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones. He didn't like that too much.
So. Wait. Did you besmirch the Flintstones? I wasn't listening when you were talking.
I said outside of the original series, the Flintstones hasn't done anything good. Anybody?
How dare you? The John Goodman movie is delightful.
The only thing good about the John Goodman movie was that I was 10 years old and Halle Berry was in it. That's the only good thing about that.
Because Sharon Stone was too much of an ass to go play Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
I know.
Actually, no, wait. You know what? The thing they did with the Jetsons was okay. I'll give you that much. Where
Jetsons meet the Flintstones? It's
where the
one
Jetsons
of the greatest
land, and you find out
one of the great. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I stopped.
I think
one of the most ambitious.
Oh, sorry.
It's one of the most ambitious crossovers of all time. What were you saying, Kev?
I think it's criminal that we live in a world where Sherman Helmsley did not get to play Mr. Spacely.
I know. There never has been a live action Jetsons. Forget I said that. Forget I said that. Hollywood. I don't want to give anyone the idea. Oh, it's greenlit now.
Jerry Seinfeld was attached. Jerry Seinfeld was attached for like 10 years to a Jetsons movie that never happened.
Oh God! Can you imagine him as George Jetson?
And Jim Carrey.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Am I correct in where I'm at? That's there, and then Hold on, sorry guys, I'm just doing some math in my head real quick.
I thought you were setting up the yo ho ho clip.
No.
The best ones are those when they hit like 2 minutes late.
JPS for $2 says Ava is a less attractive Lacey Von Erich. Dead X-Man 616
tried hard and was hot.
Yeah, I agree. Dead X-Man 616 for $2 says Flintstone kids were cool. Yes. Yabba dab, yabba dab, yabba dabba do. We are the Flintstone kids. Man, screw you, this.
It was exactly as cool as Scrappy Doo was.
No, it was not.
Exactly the same amount of cool.
You know, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo was the shit. It had Vincent Price and a character named Flim Flam.
John Williams for $1.99 says Hallie said that was one of her favorite roles. Oh, I'm happy for her then. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says that was the most adorable Kev laugh to date. Whichever laugh you gave. Regina Sharp for $5 says it's too late, Marvin. You've succumbed to the curse of no imagination. The live action Jetsons is now releasing next week, starring Pedro Pascal as George. God. And Judy will be played by Zendaya. Let me get a calculation to where we are, because we might actually have done it here. Let's see. It was 191.
George Jetson, played by Idris Elba.
Guys, we are at 200 on the dot. So you know what that means. It's time for our first Headlock Headlines clip of the night. So, guys, here is the beginning of this next episode of Headlock Headlines. Coming at you right now.
Mania is mercifully over, but the WWE is moving on to some big things, and AEW is also doing stuff, I guess. It's time for the Headlock Headlines. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Welcome to another episode of the Headlock Headlines here on Tooney Town Wrestling. We are not journalists, we don't break news, and we are not a credible news source. Just an entertainment channel that likes to poke a little fun at the ridiculous world of professional wrestling. Now, I know it's been a while, but I'm busy, and if you got a problem with that, you can bite the orangest part of my ass. WrestleMania had its ups and its very noticeable downs, but Raw and SmackDown were both really strong. The question now is, do you still believe in Triple H? Say his name and he appears. What the hell? I believe in Triple H. What is happening right now? I believe in Triple H, because he goes over in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I just jobbed to Triple H. I just jobbed to Triple H.
Oh, buckle up.
Stop it! Are you trying to get us demonetized? Almost constantly. What the hell do you think you're doing, Trip? Lighten up, Jobber Monster. I've had that song in my head for like weeks, and I have no idea where I heard it. That's Joe Hendry's theme song. Who? Joe Hendry! This guy. You just put him on WrestleMania. I did what in the what now? He's the TNA champion. The only TNA that I care about is Jordan Grace, the female China. No, total nonstop action. Oh, it'd be nonstop action, I assure you.
There you go. Your first taste of this episode.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. I like watching it with you guys. That's actually really fun.
I had to pull my mic away because I would have laughed over it.
Oh, man.
Every time you showed me that before, you sent me the song. You said every time I just crack up when I see that. I don't know why. I can't help it.
There's 2 more clips, guys. There's 2 more clips. The full episode is 20 minutes long. So this has just been 2 minutes of it. But yeah, I got actually it was the thing that got me to work was the Joe Hendry song. Was I watched it and I was like, oh my God, wouldn't it be really funny if Tripp did this? Like if he stole it, like he saw it at WrestleMania and then forgot where he saw it and thought it was his. Like that was like the thing that just made my brain just continue to go. And after this, we get into a lot of the Hall of Fame stuff, and it's just the next clip deals with both Tripp and Tooney. So it's another $200 and we get to watch it. All right, moving along here. Oh, so AEW Collision popped a pretty big rating, huh?
Sure.
Sure, that's what you want. If that's how you want to call it.
Yeah, losing 1.305 million viewers in the course of 2 hours is fantastic.
That's how we're actually going to call it. So now, what game were they coming on after here? Was it like the NBA or something?
NBA playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. So the NBA, this is this Photon Empress here. No, she's not a wrestling fan. So you guys are on your own. The evil space lady's not coming to bail you out. So yeah, they started at, what is this, 1.67 or 1.87? I can't.
1.67 million.
Yeah, and then by the time they finish, they are at 365,000.
Lost 800,000 in 15 minutes. And the rest of it,
sharp decline.
The rest of it was people. These are all people who forgot to turn their TV off, right?
And now aren't they all like dancing around now, saying they beat NXT?
Yeah. No. Okay. I was busy today. I had to break. You notice I don't have any descriptions in my chart. I don't have any funny jokes. I did this only because I was tired of reading everyone saying that they beat NXT. I had to put something out there that people could, put on other people's comments on X, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That they're cheering for this, especially after Dynamite, where it was the second lowest rated Dynamite in the history of Dynamite.
Yes, let's get over to that. Dynamite. Oh Lord. 521,000. And of course, Uncle Dave was, NBA, NHL, new Buckies.
Speaking of the Buckies, they lost 60,000 viewers during this Dynamite.
Yeah, at least they, like, we have learned, I think, that like this, the people that are watching here, this is the bottom of the barrel. This is the lowest I think they can go for now.
Not yet. If it holds firm, it's once the playoffs are done, summer vacation, when the kids go back to school, that is the absolute lowest that we're going to be at. That is the new low.
Yeah, I didn't pull. I ended up not pulling.
This is the previews for the low.
I ended up not pulling the Brian Alvarez thing where Brian Alvarez went on a long rant this week, and Phil covered it if you want to actually really watch it. But it was 6 minutes long. It takes him a long time to get to the point. But the whole thing was about how he was being told that it was about video packages. And he was saying that, you're going to lose fans no matter what company you are, no matter how good you are. If you have 500,000 fans by this time next year, if you don't get new fans, you're going to have less than 500,000 fans. People will die. People will move on. People will stop watching wrestling. People will get married. All kinds of different things can contribute to you stopping watching. If you don't do anything to bring in new fans, that's when your company dies. So this is the bottom. Sure, I'll agree with you that it's the bottom. But if they don't start bringing in new fans, the bottom's going to keep getting lower and lower and lower. And it's not because people are turned away from AEW or they don't like it. Or it's just because life happens and they move on. That's how things work. So they need to bring in more fans. And they do nothing to do that. I mean,
they don't want new fans. I think Tony is perfectly comfortable with the number of fans with the people that they've had, and he does not feel the need to reach across the aisle to bring anyone else.
No, he has held on to the absurd belief that the Silicon Valley rich guy will carry them over the finish line, and that's why every year for the last 4 years, this show has lost conservatively 20 to 25% of its audience. Sometimes a little bit more, but never less than 20%.
Didn't it start with like 1.6 million? Like when Dynamite first started, it had like 1.6 million people were watching, and now it's but the max numbers, the more, which we cover that in Headlock Headlines this week too.
We passed the second no milliversary recently.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
We did. I think we're coming up on no 700K anniversary.
We are. Yeah, it's getting bad, man. And when they're rescheduling shows the way they are, like we talked about last week, where they had to reschedule 2 shows, when they're when you want to pull up the so Collision did so well this week that next week they're putting them on a different network.
Yeah.
For the Avenger.
Because Avengers Infinity War has to air. Yep. A movie that came out a movie that came out in, what was it, 2017 or 2018? I think 2018. An 8-year-old movie or a 7-year-old movie. 7-year-old movie, and you know, it's such a ratings get for them that the replay of a movie that everyone can get on streaming right now with commercials is going to probably draw more ratings too. I wish we could see the ratings for what Infinity War does.
Yeah, if there was a change of management with WBD, if Zaslav was no longer in charge, I 100% believe that they would try to get the Law and Order rights back and air Law and Order during this time slot instead of Collision or Dynamite. You know, like they had been for years, because there's look at it this way. AEW, you can look at the Collision rating. They still rely on the lead-in, right? They relied on Big Bang Theory for Dynamite. If sports is on Saturday, then they get a good lead-in for Collision. This is what they rely on. They're 5 years in. Yep. Could you imagine if The Office was on season 5 and they were still needing a lead-in to get ratings? Usually, if a show is good, it is the lead-in. Yeah. Raw, when it was on USA and it went till 11 o'clock at night, they still launched shows off the back of Raw. They launched shows on the back of SmackDown. They used to launch shows off the back of Nitro all the time. The Mortal Kombat show, remember that? Like Spike launched what was that? 1,000 Ways to Die or whatever. They launched that on the back of Impact. And that's a show that people still meme about today. But what does TBS do? What does TNT do? They show reruns after Collision or Dynamite. They show they're not using that time slot to launch anything new, and it's because they're the things that need the lead in. They don't carry anybody over. Nobody sticks around after Dynamite. The few fans that they have no interest in anything else. They don't have any casuals. Cody has said before that they don't want casuals. Mm-hmm. They want to be this weird thing, and it can't. The only reason that it can be successful is because Tony has a bottomless pocketbook that will continue to fund it until his dad gets tired of it.
Did Tony say that, or did Cody say that when he was in AEW or when he was out of AEW?
Out of AEW.
Interesting. Okay, so he was saying it as a negative that they don't want casuals. Okay, because I could see AEW Cody being like, we don't want casuals.
Well, no. Remember, AEW's thing has always been there's no such thing as casuals. Right?
Really?
Yes. They've always been about there's no such thing as casuals.
Oh, there's 100% such a thing as casuals.
No.
That's why the mindset is, well, we don't know who Ciabatta, Tamagotchi, Yoki-san, Cucamonga is. Do your homework.
Well, remember when Punk came out to his indie theme and most people didn't understand what he was doing, and the internet had a meltdown over it?
Yeah.
Do your homework.
It's so well. That's one of the things that Alvarez was talking about, is that it was on video packages. He was still talking about how they, it would really help. And they're like, someone said, they shouldn't reward people who skipped the show to watch WrestleMania by showing them what happened.
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
should be
really
punished.
You're gonna gatekeep your footage from last week, just because someone was busy doing something else. Like, it's such a dumb mindset. And you think, okay, well, these are just the fans, these are just the sickos, we don't need to spend time talking about it. But they are echoing the exact same sentiment from the people in the company. You look at things that like Ricochet says, or people that are supposed to represent the company, and they're no different than what the trolls are saying online. It's such a bad situation. I don't think they can ever come back from it. I really, unless something crazy happens, like Triple H shows up and says, "Move out of here, kid. I'm taking over."
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens like that, there's nowhere to go, man. They don't have it.
Listen, the glamour's off, right? It's the show is as unpopular as you can get. Even Meltzer had to admit, well, it's not cool anymore.
We have that clip.
It's like they have no place in the cultural zeitgeist. Again, I always thought about that that meme with the girl. Everybody always cuts off the back end where she says wrestling is her ick, but the rest of it is, oh no, I'm talking about people who like AEW. Like we crossed the Rubicon. Everybody knows there's no going back now. It is a nerd. It's a nerd weirdo company.
Yeah,
and you can't take him seriously. And I don't blame guys like Edge who go there with the best of intentions, not being able to draw. No one will be able to go there and pop a rating because the brand is dead. It is a less than brand.
It's that meme of like the stick figure where it's like, I really like this new thing. Let me take a look at the fandom. And he opens up the door and it's all just a bunch of stick figures like shitting all over each other in the wall.
Yep.
And like and it's then you just close the door.
When I said a couple weeks ago when I went to the TNA show, everyone was joking about AEW. I didn't say a word, and everyone in my section was joking about AEW. When someone would botch, they'd say, "Take that shit to AEW." When someone was when they were doing the thing with Jake something, where Cody Deaner, where he's constantly getting fired or he's trying to keep his job, and everyone was like, "Tony will hire you." Like it's not just an inside joke anymore. These are casuals going to a TNA show to see Jeff Hardy. That's why they are there. And all of them are making fun of AEW.
Yeah.
When you have people that when people know AEW just enough to make fun of them, that's when it's bad. That's dying days of WCW. That's the lowest point of TNA. That's what we're talking about now with AEW. TNA was able to pull up. TNA was able to pull up, but they were able to pull up because they went through 2 different sales during their time, like completely over. But Tony's not going to sell. No one's going to come in and save it. It has to be Tony,
Listen, and here's the thing, right? At least you and I don't know if people are ready to admit this shit, right? TNA was and has been the vastly superior brand.
100%.
From the launch to its final days on Spike. What killed TNA was the fact that it was called TNA during a time where we're all hyper aware of what it was. You can call TNA what it is now because these little Zennials don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing about about where we are, but you couldn't tell the Attitude Era kids we were calling a company TNA and expect someone to want to take it serious. That's whenever they had a news story, the newscasters were on the way, total nonstop action. And then even when you hear the words total nonstop action, it sounds like nonsense. So they were only hurt by the fact that no one could say their name in public without feeling a little bit of a douche chill. But it's always been the good brand, and now just at a spot where they're finally getting their due. The people are finally showing the love they should have gotten from day one. AEW got all of the goodwill that should have been there for TNA, but just wasn't, and they squandered it.
Well, because TNA came in. Okay, TNA came around when it started. WWE was in an upswing, regardless of it was made to fill the hole, but the hole wasn't there. But because of that, they also didn't have the pressure on them or all the eyeballs on them that AEW did, because AEW came in at a time when WWE was in a creative drought, and they did have an opportunity. They could have actually done something, become the number one company. TNA could have never done that. TNA was always serving a niche audience who didn't want the WWE product. By the time AEW was around, there were enough people who were not happy with the WWE product that they could have actually done something, and they just weren't good enough.
People were, we went from wanting an alternative to desperately needing a number 2 promotion. Mm-hmm. And it should have been AEW. You're right. It should have been AEW, but they But again, right out the box, they chose to do everything wrong. It just, honeymoon periods, and the beer bug gave them a little extra cover than they really should have had.
Well, look, you look at the way WWE is now. If Tony had kept his mouth shut in the beginning, they'd be working with them right now, because WWE is like willing to work with everyone now, it seems, except for Tony Khan.
I still think they would. I still think they would.
I don't.
I don't think it would be tomorrow, but I could see if AEW was able to stick around and they kept their nose clean and they cut out the anti WWE stuff. I could see WWE saying, all right, yeah, let's help you, because they want competition. They want people to go, WWE thrives when wrestling is good and doing well. So go ahead.
I was going to say, you don't run as hard when you're the only person running the race. They need someone to run against.
And they're trying desperately to create that competition. They're doing it. That's why they're helping TNA. That's why they made NXT. That's why they have a brand split. All of these things are in service of creating their own competition, because no one can give it to them. Even I don't know. I do think buying AAA was a bit of a middle finger over there, but there was also great business reasons to buy AAA. So,
well, WWE has learned that luchadors are very, very popular with kids. They're very, very popular with adult fans, and they sell a lot of merch. Yep. So I think that they're, more than
AEW is currently selling tickets to a show on the back of CMLL. Everyone's talking about the great ticket sales that Grand Slam is doing in a CMLL arena using CMLL talent. The arena that CMLL sells out 3 days a week, and people are surprised that they're selling well using it's nothing to. Once again, another thing that is nothing to brag about.
But apparently, also this show is the single most expensive show in the history of Mexican wrestling. They are apparently charging an arm and a leg to go, which, I mean, we're seeing that with WWE too, whenever they go overseas or across the border.
Did you see the ticket prices though?
What were they?
It's $28 and $48.
Well, I mean, it's Mexico, dude.
So, yeah, it's just a lot more than the $0 that CMLL usually charges to.
Really? CMLL is a free show?
They do. I think they do the thing where they sell floor tickets, but then they have general admission the rest of the arena, and you can get in general admission for free. So
that is interesting.
At least for TV.
Let's get a few super chats, and then we'll move on to find out what our friend Dave has to say this week.
Oh God.
Let's see. Dead X-Man 616 for $2 says Velma made us like Flim Flam. Uncultured Barbarian for $2 says Kevin Hart as Elroy. Oh my gosh. There was actually a joke that I had in the Headlock Headlines this week that I completely missed while filming, and so it was just not in there. It's while we do a whole thing with Dwayne, Dwayne, my friend Dwayne. Well, I love Dwayne, and I say something to Meltzer, and he's just like, yeah, like Dwayne would never be best friends with an idiot. And it just cuts to a picture of The Rock and Kevin Hart, and just is presented without comment. But Regina Sharp for $5 says, I'll just point out Zendaya would play Jane. Jane is a redhead. It is the law that Zendaya play her. Yeah, that's actually true.
Oh, it should be what's her name? Amy Adams. There you go. Amy Adams would play Jane. I could do this. I could cast this.
That's good casting. Amy Adams as Jane Jetson is good casting. You're not doing it right.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's got to be someone terrible. It's got to be like I don't know who is that who's the person that was in that Netflix the Netflix movie with the never mind. But the Rosie the Robot, voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh God, yeah. No. And they give her dreadlocks. Yep. I see it. I see the
Dead X-Man 616 for $2. There are oranger parts. Yes. Yeah, did you guys like that line though? You could bite the orangest part of my ass. John Williams 199 says I piss my pants. I'm glad. I'm always happy when I ruin you guys' pants. Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says the way you paused the Triple H clips, it looks like you were horrified at the thought of Triple H and Jordan Grace's total nonstop action. I was, because that's the next bit is just, he just keeps saying horrible things. You guys know how it works by this point. Chef Eddie says that was great, Marvin, but when is the next episode? Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says new fans bring new criticisms. Tony, probably. Yeah, that's true. New fans might want things to change, and things can't change, guys. That can never happen. Because everything is great the way it is.
Well, that happens a lot too with AEW fans. You'll see the only time that AEW fans get mad at Tony or start talking about bad booking is when he's doing things that might actually bring in business. When he's like pushing Edge or doing something like that, then they get all angry.
Regina Sharp for 5 says, once you add in the people on Max, they've got 6 gajillion viewers a minute. The mystery Max numbers. Andre Adams for $9.99 says Dynamite peaked in viewership with its debut show. And that's not even an Andre Adams like roast. That's true. That's real. 100%. Dead X Man 616 for $2 says She-Hulk would outdraw AEW. Oh gosh, it probably could. Andre Adams for $1.99 says 3 kids with broken crayons could outdraw AEW. Yeah. CWJ 128 for 2 says Costco guy not being cool. Color me shocked.
Hey. Costco guy.
He didn't say anything about the Rizzler. Don't worry.
Oh, did you see that they unveiled their new rating system?
Wait, what?
They didn't actually. Okay, so they do the boom and the doom.
Okay.
They actually have a device now where they can press it and it'll hit how many booms it gets, and you get to see the little stars.
Denver Dollface for $2. Damn wrestling fans, they ruined wrestling.
Hold on. Do they call it the Boomsday device?
No. They call it the boomometer, but that would be so much better.
Yeah, for real.
What a jobber.
Money on the table. But you know what? Denver Dolphins is obviously saying this sarcastically, but the super fans are the ones that probably did ruin it because they gatekeep and they drive not to bring this up again, but they drive Kat Dennings away when she tries to watch Raw.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, do I love WWE? Watch AEW.
Kenny Omega.
Japan.
I'm just saying. I'd rather get 5 big booms than 5 Meltzer stars. That's all I just want.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to interrupt me again. I thought it was a bit. Sorry about that.
John Williams for $4.99 says Cornette talked about how hard it already was to get ads for wrestling normally, but the TNA name made it even harder. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
bro, we need sponsorships. We're gonna go sell a video game where the character is gonna be called Self-Delete.
Didn't they
make big bucks?
Didn't Russo brag about this?
Yeah.
I want to say Russo bragged about the fact that he wanted that to be called, what TNA was called.
And bro, you're not gonna believe it. Yeah, we're gonna call it TNA. We all know what it stands for. We're gonna put it on lunch boxes, thermoses, school books, Trapper Keepers, bro. Trapper Keepers for TNA. It sells itself.
But Vince, we need a main heel stable. What should they be called?
I got it. Sports, entertainment, extreme, 2 X's, baby. 2 X's.
But that spells sex.
That's right. TNA loves sex. Come on. It writes itself. Come on. What do you think? I'm a mark? Come on. This is easy.
Regina Sharp for $10 says Tony Khan is the Braveheart of bad booking. Contracts of Eric Bischoff, long-range booking of Russo, business sense of Paul Heyman, head full of shiitake of Vince. He is wet fart. That is one way to put it. Let's see. Okay. CWJ 128 for $2 says, will AEW's first 2 years be well remembered? I don't know if they'll be remembered at all.
I think they will.
In the first 2 years, Matt Hardy died. Jericho swam a mimosa.
Football field.
I think they will.
The exploding ring.
Yeah. I think they will. And it's because I have fond memories of the dying days of WCW. I have fond memories of watching. Bad wrestling can be something that you remember fondly. Okay. Yeah. You can reminisce on great times that you had watching terrible wrestling. You don't remember boring wrestling fondly, right? No one goes back and talks about WXO anymore. Okay. And it's just because that's the difference. A bad wrestling company, there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with a bad wrestling company. And that's why the first 2 years people still look back on fondly. I still watched all the way. I was a diehard AEW fan up until Brawl Out. And it was because, you know what? At least I'm entertained. It might be for the wrong reasons. It might be but I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself when I sat down on Wednesday nights and watched Dynamite until they sucked all the fun out of it. And that night sucked all the fun out of it. You realize that this is all about ego. This is all about this guy. This is all about the Bucks. And this guy, Tony Khan, is going to ride with these guys and nothing's ever going to change. And that's also when things just stop being fun. Things stop being weird because Tony took control. Remember that big statement where Tony was like, he's not going to let the wrestlers run the show anymore. He's going to be more hands-on and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So now they're just going to tell him what they're doing instead of just doing stuff.
Right. So I will it be well remembered in the sense of, will we go back and be like, oh, wasn't it great? Probably not. But I don't think that's what well remembered means in my mind. It means how much did you enjoy watching it? And I think the first 2 years of AEW were at least enjoyable in the sense of that it was fun to watch. And that's me though.
All right, Ricky Murray for $5. Considering the story of the original name of TNA from Cornette's podcast was Tits and Ass Wrestling, and it was named by Russo. Yep, that's exactly it.
Hold on, bro. I could say Tits and Ass this whole time, and I've only been saying TNA.
Don't overdo it.
Rib, are you working me?
Don't overdo it. Liquid Fox,
brother.
Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says, "The Rizzler is ass."
Max agrees with you. Don't worry.
I've been waiting for you to click on that one for like 10 minutes.
Mr. Jamie Jam 88 for $4.99 says, "Watch Dynamite get 400K on Juneteenth. Wonder which rapper will be blamed this year."
Master P.
We want to make a big. We're thinking Juneteenth. We want to make a big holiday push.
Master P had no business being on Dynamite.
Yeah, but did you see that, Marv? Master P was on Dynamite.
I heard that he was. I wasn't shocked.
The guy who the only person who ever got Kendall Windham over was on Dynamite last week.
Mm-hmm. Andre Adams for $1.99 says this has a Rizzler plushie next to him.
I wish. Oh my gosh!
Please tell me they don't make those. John William, you wish that you had a plushie of a rotund child next to you.
I'm telling you, you have no idea the reaction I get from my son when I bring him up. It's the most beautiful thing in the world to see him freak out every time I bring up the Rizzler.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. So it's about making your son cringe.
Yeah. When I bring him up on the show, it's because he's upstairs listening to me talk. He can't hear you guys, but he can hear me. So yeah, absolutely. This is the same thing I do when I drop him off at school. Don't worry.
John Williams for $4.99 says the Jarrett's asked Russo if it was in reference to dirty words. Russo lied to their face. It didn't, and said no. It's total nonstop action. And then Liquid Fox for $2 says, "Well played, Dis, but I will annoy you eventually."
I like Liquid Fox. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Liquid Fox is a good dude. All right, so we are now currently at $281. So we are 119 away from another clip. Can we get there before we're done? I don't know. We'll see. I think it's kind of gonna be a toss-up. I don't think we're getting all three tonight.
Nah.
But
and the third one's the best. The third one's the best.
The third one is the best.
It's so good.
Okay. What was just gonna do? Oh yeah, I think it's time for a little segment we like to call. That's Dave for you. All right. So we were talking about the Avengers situation earlier. Well, Dynamite Dave came out and talked a bit about it. It's a marathon. The station. So somebody says, is there truth to Collision being moved for a Marvel movie? Did you see this as a good thing or a bad thing? It's a marathon. The station strategized. If you're talking moving because of the marathon and the benefit of how they are placing shows during the playoffs, it's a clear good thing in the big picture. Everything's good. Everything that happens to them is good.
I just want to point out, let's just point out real quick. Collision being taken off of its normal network because of the Avengers is good, but Joe Hendry being on WrestleMania is bad.
Yes, yeah. Let's remember that. Yeah. It's TNA. Yeah. Dave Meltzer, by the way, the Lord and Master of TNA.
TNA pay-per-view. I presume you did not see this show.
I did not see the show.
I actually watched the entire pay-per-view.
How was it?
Pretty good show. The opener was Casey Navarro, Matt Cardona.
That was the just saying that.
Yeah, he does. That was it. He does not watch TNA.
Never. He's never. He hasn't watched TNA in 10 years.
Guys, and now Dave also said something a little interesting though. Apparently, AEW is no longer cool.
I don't remember if you were there or not. Somebody was talking to me over this weekend, and they were at a lot of the shows at the Palms, right? And they said that the one thing when they would listen to people is just how uncool and negative everybody was on AEW. And it's like,
those bastards. That's exactly what you were just talking about.
Yep.
Exactly what you heard at TNA.
Like, the thing is like, you know, they put on like these great TV shows and great matches of late, but it's...
Stop it.
It's great, Marv.
They're great TV shows, great matches.
Great TV, strong.
Have you watched them lately, Kev? Or have you just kind of dropped off?
No, I'm still suffering through it.
Okay. I try. It's just boring. But
yeah, it's boring. Yeah, that's the worst part.
If I had to say, like, quality wise, I guess it's better. It's more coherent a little bit, but it doesn't matter if it's boring.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's structured a little bit better. They are making less of the same mistakes, like doing 4 segments, the exact same segment 4 times in a row. But the show is just boring.
When their main event segment is their death time slot. Think about that. Yeah. The main event segment is where they put the wrestlers that they know aren't going to draw anyway.
Yep.
Like, how is that possible in a wrestling show anymore? I don't ever. That used to be the spot that you fought for, and now it's the spot that you don't want. It's apathy. That's the worst thing you can have is apathy.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Just and I go like, what do you mean? It's like it's just uncool. Tony's uncool. Triple H is cool. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Triple H is like undeniably like a cool guy. Like, you know, he's got like the cool old man beard and the shaved head and the suits, and he's put together and his suits are pressed and he's professional and he has poise and he's funny and he can, you know, think on the fly. And then you have this disheveled weasel in a wrinkled suit with a neck beard who goes, it's great. It's great. Over and over again. It's of course Tony's not cool. He's a little tweaker.
Like, man, that's and in a big sense, I've kind of said that same thing for months, but
no, you have not.
No, you have not.
You have not once ever said AEW is not cool. Oh, you know, I was ahead of the curve on this one, Brian. Oh, simmer down.
I did hear him say it one time before this. He said that
cool.
He was afraid that AEW wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah, and I do remember that because I think we played it, and I think his thing was, though, at that time was, I don't know why it doesn't make any sense to me. AEW is putting out the best shows they ever have, so at least now he kind of is owning it a little bit. But yeah, I do remember him saying something like that, but he was befuddled by why AEW wasn't cool.
Right. All right, moving on.
I don't think I really expressed it well sometimes, and when I was told that, it was kind of like, yeah, that's.
Oh, go figure, Dave. You don't express yourself well sometimes.
The only thing that's being hidden harder than the WWE WrestleMania roast is the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 convention over WrestleMania weekend.
Oh,
I can't find one picture. I can't find one clip from the Q&A. I can't find anybody talking about it. I can't find anything.
Last year where they were charging a sinful amount of money to go on a boat with Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez.
Mm-hmm. Dude, can you imagine how hard I was trying to find clips from the Q&A that they did over? I gotta find it, but no one has it. It's ridiculous, and I think there might be a reason, and I think we're finding out why. Because it sounds, if I had to guess, the people that told him AEW wasn't cool were probably at his convention. Because I don't think a lot of other people care to talk to Dave Meltzer.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that if the majority of people are saying that AEW is not cool, they also think Dave Meltzer, they think 80-year-old Dave Meltzer is not cool. Just got to go on a limb there and guess that.
We is just cool. And we're in a society where, whether it's music or whether it's movies or whether it's anything, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, when you're uncool, man, you're just uncool, Like there's TV stations that are uncool.
Listen, I know cool. Like, come on, man. Like,
spit in the face people who don't know how to be cool.
Oh man. Well, I do have the ability to start a vending machine just by hitting it. Mr. C. The name's Davon Meltzer.
Oh, it sounds like a rapper. I'm scaring myself.
Oh my goodness. All right.
It doesn't matter how good a job they do and what their programming is. Those stations are uncool. There's TV stations that are cooler and they do better, And WWE is very cool right now. AEW.
How many times has he said the word cool?
But what's an uncool station and versus what's a cool station? Like,
by the way, I don't think there's any cable television station right now that's cool. Like, do kids even say cool anymore, Dis? Kev, you guys both have school age kids. Do any of them say cool?
No, not really. No.
Oh, that is so fashion.
Like, they see things like bussin'.
Oh God, is this how our parents reacted to cool?
No, because our parents said cool.
Oh yeah, I did.
They just ended up with daddy-o.
Can't do what they did. They can't do 60,000 people 2 straight nights. They can't do it, and so therefore they're secondary. And it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like that's what makes you cool, being able to do 60,000 people. By the way, I've noticed that has Dave not picked apart the WrestleMania attendance yet?
He has not touched it.
People say
he has not said a word about it.
That ain't the booking. It just became uncool because enough people told you for a long enough time that they're a money pit and it's a spoiled,
No, Dave, it's not cool because when you go to an AEW show, you realize that you're surrounded by losers. Like seriously, like it's the part you realize that you're at the party with all the Melvins and you leave.
Yeah, it's my grandfather's name.
That's from South Park. They call nerds Melvins. You guys are Melvins.
Rich kid and blah 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 and all that. And and that just makes it uncool.
So hold on, is he essentially blaming that on Bischoff and Cornette then?
Yes, and us. I mean, people like us.
Well, yeah, but not us directly. I'm sure.
I'm saying the internet narrative, right? And he's talked about like the trolls against AEW and stuff before, and I don't know. I'll tell you what. Do you know why I started my account? It's because I noticed that Tony Khan only responded to bullying. Right? Like that's for some reason, all the fans, his own fans who were like, hey, you should do this. You know, it'd be cool if you did this. He didn't pay attention to, but the second that people started bullying him online about something, he would respond to it and do what they said and be like, see, I showed you. And it's like, it's exactly, that's a big part of it. You know, you can't make Tony Khan your figurehead and expect to be cool. Because there is nothing cool about Tony Khan.
Nope, nothing at all.
Nothing is cool.
And there's nothing cool. There's nothing cool about Kenny Omega. There's nothing cool about the Young Bucks. There's nothing cool about any of these guys.
What's weird is that Kenny Omega, if you watch his like gaming streams, there is something cool about Kenny Omega, and they have no interest in putting that on AEW television.
Yeah,
right. They have no interest.
That means Kenny Omega has no interest in putting it on AEW television, because if Kenny Omega wanted to be that, he'd be that.
I don't think Kenny Omega cares at all about AEW.
Kenny Omega is a guy who looks like he is praying that the Phantom Zone cracks so he can get the hell out of there.
Did you hear what he said about Roman?
No.
What did he say about Roman?
On his stream on Friday, some people in his chat were talking about how he's a bigger star than Roman and stuff, and he goes, I will not take any Roman Reigns slander in this chat. So like he just seems done. You know, you never see the Bucks out here saying like, you know, I really like the Usos anymore. You know, it's but Kenny Omega, he has no problem saying good things about people in WWE.
Yep. All right. Well, so
it just became uncool because enough people told you for a long enough time that they're a money pit and it's a spoiled, you know, rich kid and blah blah blah.
I was about to say this. That thing with the Roman Reigns slander, that was like a year ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, still.
Yeah. I remember. I could picture it in my head, and somebody just said it in the chat. The CWJ128 just said it in the chat, and he's right.
Oh, then why did someone send it to me yesterday? I don't know. It was very odd. I was like, oh, it must have been from this week. Okay, sorry about that.
You know, and that just makes it uncool. And then the guys all want to really be in WWE, which, you know, there are obviously people there who do want to be in WWE, and there's obviously people who absolutely don't want to be in WWE, and there's people who just want to, you know, and there's also people there who just.
There's some people who want to be in WWE, but there's some people who don't want to be in the WWE, and there's some people that are ambivalent to it, but then there are some people that know how to stand on their head and drink a glass of water, and other people that choke while they do it.
Like, do you think there's anybody who doesn't want to be in WWE, or do you think there are just people who would never ever be allowed to be in WWE?
I think that. Oh no, God, you say what you're going to say.
I was going to say first I was going to say the Bucks, but then I realized they probably do want to and know that they never will be.
I think it depends on your age and how much of a WCW fan you were, because I can see that there could be a group of guys who, when they grew up, they wanted to be WCW guys, so now they want to go to Japan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are just some people who are like, no, I want to be the big American in Japan. You know, I could see that person existing every once in the blue moon. But if you're, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, if you want to be a professional baseball player and you get the ability to be on the Yankees, do you say no to the Yankees?
Well, no, the Rockland Boulders are where it's really at. You know, like that's where the passion is.
You see, yeah, okay. Do you say no to the Yankees? Maybe you say no to the Yankees, but you do that because you're saying yes to the Cardinals, or you're saying yes to the Dodgers.
Right. Do you say no to Major League Baseball?
Right. No, what I'm saying is that AEW is not the competition for the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like, there is no Dodgers or St. Louis Cardinals. AEW is like the Florida Marlins, right? Like, that's the prestige that AEW carries right now. They're not if you are in AEW, it's because it's where you go because you need a paycheck at this point. It's not because you have like you said, if they dreamt of going to Japan, guess where they are right now? Yep. They're in Japan because they can easily work for New Japan Wrestling. I think Kev, I think you could get a contract with New Japan Wrestling if you really tried right now. Like,
cool. All right, I'm gonna dust off these boots.
I mean, it's not, no offense, Kev. I wasn't trying to.
That's right. I'm big American.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's not hard to get a job in New Japan right now. So anybody who would actually not want to work in WWE is working where they want to work, which would be New Japan. Josh Alexander worked in TNA because that was his dream. Yeah. And there are people who have that dream because TNA's been around long enough. No one ever had the dream to work in AEW because just they haven't been around that long. You know, it's
no. So at this point, if you are, sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't realize you. I thought.
I was at this point, right? If you are a guy who is in the Josh Alexander territory, where like you're a little older, you're probably not going to get to the WWE. Yeah, you run and cash out with AEW. If you're a younger kid who has the ability to maybe grind it out a few more years and try to go to TNA to get to WWE, I think you're a fool to go to AEW because you're going to squander very important learning years in your career, and you're not going to build any equity. You're just going to stand around and be misused and then pray to God that you get released from your contract at some point in time before you have wasted all of your time.
Yep.
Unless the check is so big, you can't say no to it. But how many people are going to get that?
Right. Why do you think Indy Hartwell showed up in TNA this weekend? Why do you think Mustafa Ali went to TNA? Why do you think Elias is now Elijah in TNA? After filming a vignette with AEW talent, he still went to TNA. It's because if you're in TNA, you're still on the radar. If you're in AEW, Rusev, I don't think we're going to see a lot of Rusevs in the future. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people who go to AEW and then come back to WWE. I think part of it going out is like, hey man, stay in our bubble. We might hire you back.
Though, how about Rusev? How about Rusev calling AEW hell and the Abyss?
Yeah.
How about when Joe was on Chris Van Vliet? They were talking about when he got fired from WWE. He goes, it wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last time. So even Joe was like, "I'm getting the hell out of here as soon as I can," without
Jericho.
Saying as soon as I can.
Jericho's
been saying, he's been saying for weeks. I think that's Jericho trying to get more money out of Tony.
Or he realizes he can't get into a Hall of Fame that's worth a damn if he stays there. Because
no, they should never put him in. He has talked so much crap about the WWE Hall of Fame and that it doesn't matter. And I hope Triple H hears every word and it's just like, yeah, I don't forgive like the old man did.
I think part of it with Jericho too is that he can go to WWE and be on tour with his band for 10 months a year and then come into WWE and work a match. And
because Vince let Jericho come in and Jericho would attach himself like a barnacle to whoever the hot guy of the minute was, whether it was Kevin Owens or AJ or whoever it was, until the one time where Vince was like, hey, pal, I need you to help me get this Fandango guy over. And Jericho lost his mind over it. Still talks about it.
And now Fandango is getting shots on WWE programming.
Look, if Jericho is saying he publicly wants to go back to WWE, I hope Triple H literally just picks up the phone and calls Tony Khan and be like, listen, I have no interest. Lowball the crap out of him.
Triple H would. The Rock wouldn't. That's why, The Rock would take Jericho back in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on who's talking about the contract. Whether he'd be back or not.
Oh, The Rock's not getting involved in contracts.
No, but I could see you know what? I bet Jericho has The Rock's number.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet
Jericho had 5 Rock numbers ago, maybe.
No, I bet Jericho. I bet Jericho get The Rock on the phone.
Celebrities change their phone numbers all the time. Because they give it out to so many newspaper people or people who want to interview them. I worked for a newspaper one time where one of my colleagues, she was interviewing Artie Lang. And so she got like his cell phone number to call him and interview him. And then like 3 months later, she interviewed him again for another show, and he had a completely different cell phone number. He said he changes it every few months.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's because they were burners. It's already laying. So.
It's also true until before he snorted fiberglass. Poor bastard. All right, more Dave.
The most money, and they can make more money in AEW, so they want to be in AEW because that's specifically the goal, is to make the most money with the least amount of travel dates. And if you're the right person, you can do that in AEW.
He is basically begging people at this point to go to AEW.
That's not the goal. I mean, that's the goal for when you're 40, right? The goal when you're 40 or 50 or
cash out.
45. Cash out. Go get the most work or the least work for the most money. That's fine. But when you're 25, you don't want somebody who's going to send you home because they don't have anything for you. You want somewhere where if they can't find anything for you, they'll put you on speed, or they'll send you to AAA, or they'll send you to NXT, or they'll at least let you go to the Performance Center and try to work some stuff out. That's what they want, because it's all about reps. It's all about exposure at this point. You're planning for your future. Now, when you're talking about somebody who's 38 years old and already has a broken neck and doesn't have much of a future, sure, that's what they want. But none of those guys are going to do anything for AEW. And those aren't the guys that AEW needs to be going for. They need to be building for the future, and they need to be creating an environment where people want to stay. And that's what AEW can't do. With the exception of Darby Allin, I'm pretty sure, and Orange Cassidy, who, by the way, isn't young either. Orange Cassidy's over 40. So Darby Allin and maybe Daniel Garcia. Although I have a question.
I'm pretty sure the Big Show's comfortable.
Yeah, well, he's also 50, if
sitting at home collecting $1 million a year to do nothing.
If WWE were to offer Daniel Garcia a contract, how fast would he take it? I'm curious.
Lightning fast. There'd be a Daniel Garcia shaped hole in the wall.
It would be a spinning chair.
I mean, they might have made him an offer, but it was Tony probably offered the guy millions, and WWE offered him a standard developmental contract.
Well, also it was a different AEW when he was up for renewal, right? It was an AEW that, well, maybe this could go somewhere.
Wait, didn't Daniel Garcia just go up for renewal like a couple months ago?
I thought it was a couple of years ago.
No, that was like we were doing this podcast at the time.
Yeah, this was just.
Oh, you're totally right. You're right. You're okay. You're totally right. You're totally right.
You are. What gummies are you on tonight, man?
No, I'm not. That's actually probably the problem. Is that?
Full side note: instead of giving everybody a black screen, maybe we should just put up LaGreca and Sally Jesse Raphael while we talk amongst ourselves.
Well, I keep hoping that any minute now I can return to the clip.
So, but yeah, that were you there? Were you there for that conversation?
No, I was not.
Okay, I didn't remember, but yeah, it was just something people had brought up to me, which it's something that I knew, but when someone else tells you it, and someone's going, I'm just listening to people in the audience, and and it's kind of going like, how do you overcome that? And it's like, it's the hardest question in the world, because what do you do to overcome it? It's just like do you put a new guy as the face of the company? Do you pretend to sell the company? I don't, it's like.
What? Tony would never allow that, first of all.
Pretend to sell the company?
This is the closest that Dave has ever gotten to admitting that Tony's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tony is and this is why I knew AEW was doomed from the start. The second I heard Tony Khan talk for the first time, because I was like, the problem is this guy, and there's no getting rid of this guy. So,
no one will buy that anyway, and it's a problem that they're going to have.
That was the question that Jamie had sent in to us. So I was going to ask it, and then you just basically.
He's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. All right, we also have a clip of Dave talking about Dwayne.
Well, okay, real quick, Marv, before we go there in the chat, I keep seeing, if AEW closes, where do people working there go? Because that is an argument you hear all the time. Like, if AEW goes away, all these people are going to be out of work. Is that guys are so terrible?
Yeah, I don't want AEW to go. Like, let it stay there. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, TNA still exists, even after everything it's been through. AEW will survive in one form or another.
I would argue that AEW is actually taking spots away because they have taken a product that was exclusive and made the indies different than WWE, and they've taken that product and put it on television. So now you don't need to go to your local VFW hall to see that product. You can see it in AEW. Now, is that good for the 100 people that are working for AEW? Sure, but it's not good for the thousands of people who were getting money on getting paychecks every weekend by working indies. It's not good for the companies in other countries who are being rated by AEW. New Japan isn't nearly as big of an option as it used to be. CMLL isn't the option that it used to be.
I think TNA could build itself back up.
Yeah, TNA, like that's
the new talent,
right? So the answer is that there's if you take away AEW, someone will fill that hole, whether it be 30 indie companies or whether it be one big company or whether it be WWE expanding. That hole will be filled. These guys that are under contract aren't going to go hungry and poor because AEW went out of business and Tony Khan had to stop overpaying them. That's not what happens when AEW goes out of business. And that argument always gets me. I hate that, because are you telling me Kenny Omega is going to be begging on a street corner because AEW went out of business? Really? Like,
no,
these guys they'll find work. It'll be fine. It's always been fine.
But no, what happened? AEW doesn't need to go away. He just needs to let somebody who knows what they're doing run it, and that's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, people keep forgetting to, like, there's a lot of kids on the AEW roster who are only paid by appearance.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people on that roster who aren't making a damn dime. So, it's, but like Marv said,
look at Fuego del Sol. Fuego del Sol just retired because okay, you want to know this? I've heard the story, man. Fuego del Sol couldn't get booked anywhere besides GCW because someone said that he wasn't good enough, right? And where had he worked previously before GCW was AEW. So that could only have come out of one area, but his bookings got so bad and he went back to Tony. They booked him for an ROH show to come in and do a job. And he went back to Tony, and Tony had convinced him that they were family, that he would always have a place there. And he said, I'm kind of hurting now. I'm not doing so great. And Tony never got back to him. And now he's retired.
He hid under his desk.
Yep. And now he's retired.
Because you need to have somebody who's in charge of the locker room. I mean, yes, I guess that's Christopher Daniels, but apparently he's not doing much. If I was Tony Khan and I had started this wrestling company and I had Jim Ross and Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and Jake Roberts, I would have literally put them together like the Council of Elders and been like, teach me. Yep. But he came into this arrogant as all hell. He came into this saying that he was the greatest booker in the world because he booked on the message boards and had his little e-feds and stuff like that. He said these things. He said to Jim Cornette, nobody's going to book my TV but me, as if he was like Bill Watts. It's like you have all these precious resources in front of you. You could have become a student of the game, which is why they call Triple H the game, because he studied all aspects of it. It's not a gimmick. It's what he is. It's why he's an effective storyteller, not just because he was a great wrestler or a great promo. It's just because he understands the way the business works. Before he ever married Stephanie, he was asking Vince to sit in on production meetings because he wanted to learn, because you have to learn from someone because you don't know everything. This guy literally sits there with a headset on producing live TV, and he's never done it before in his life. He doesn't have a TV production degree.
There's this weird narrative now that Triple H isn't a wrestling guy and saying that he didn't grow up liking wrestling. God. It's like Triple H started bodybuilding when he was 14 years old because of wrestling. Here's what it is. Triple H didn't worship Ricky Steamboat. Okay. Triple H was obsessed with the business. Triple H was obsessed with, excuse me, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, the guys who did the best in the business, and he modeled
Triple H was obsessed with superstar Billy Graham.
Okay, there you go, Billy Graham.
Bruno Sammartino, yeah.
Right. He modeled himself after these successful wrestlers as a Wahoo McDaniel too. But he modeled himself after successful wrestlers, not the ones who the internet loves, not the ones who always get talked about being underrated. So while Daniel Bryan was trying to learn how to do a step over toe hold when he was 7 years old, Triple H was learning about how to cut a promo, or that's what he was thinking about,
or building his body.
Right, exactly. Just because you don't think the way that the IWC fans do, people try to discredit him, and that's why Tony is always up and high and mighty, because he thinks like the ICW fans, ICW fans do. But look where that led them, right? IWC, sorry.
All right, so we have one more Dave clip, and just so you guys know, I'm keeping track of the super chats as they come in. We are at $318 right now. We have to get to 400 for the next clip, and we've probably got maybe another 30 minutes of show left, so we'll see if we can get there.
Story is whatever the claimed story is. I mean, the fact is,
God, he is so smarmy and smug. I can't stand looking at him.
Just remember, he's talking to dementia grandpa.
Yeah, but he looks that way even when he's not on with Dave.
He looks
no, guys, there is no Monet Mag this week. She did not put one out.
Like, look at those sad, empty eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the face someone goes, I have better things to do with my time, but I'm here with him.
If you look at a lot of WrestleMania, I mean, a lot of that was built towards for a long time. A lot of it made sense, and that Rock thing made no sense, and that Cena thing made no sense. And
in what sense the Cena thing made no sense? I mean,
the guy, we had a month of storylines about how he wanted someone's soul. We were like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
That was only a week.
He did. That
was a week. That was a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a month before the show.
Oh, Marv. Yeah, let's give context. Can we give context real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Dave crashing out because he was right.
Yeah.
Dave was right about something, and he has no idea how to handle it.
No, none whatsoever. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
He showed up.
It was in February.
He showed up. He said, I want this guy's soul. We were like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
And then we had like another week of television, and they replayed it, and it's like, what the hell is he talking about? And then you go to the show, and the big story is The Rock tells John Cena to take this guy out, and he does. Why? I don't know.
Because
they never explained.
Well,
he never showed up again.
It's not like that was the story. It's not like this was a long-term story.
Exactly. That's my point. That's why people think there's got to be an issue here with Rock and Triple H, because...
No, he was never going to be there because I said so.
He has no idea. He's trying to desperately defend The Rock.
Because he loves The Rock. The Rock. That's why he calls him Dwayne, because he thinks The Rock's his friend.
That's my friend.
Do you think he loves The Rock because The Rock said he could call him Dwayne?
Yes.
Because I don't think The Rock has a lot of 5-star matches.
This is not a Triple H book storyline, because it makes no...
What was that?
Does The Rock have any star matches at all?
I don't think so.
No sense. There's no story. It's like Rock showed up and decided he wanted to do something, and they did it. And now it's like, I thought I was just going to, cause John Cena to turn heel after 25 years, and then I was going to disappear, and that's the story. It's like, that's not a story.
But the thing is...
What's happening?
That was not Rock. That was John Cena.
No, the decision that John Cena was going to turn. Okay, so you're telling me the day of the show, John Cena decided that he was going to turn that day.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me. Okay. So if he...
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Yes. Wrong with you.
With the indignation of like of like a little kid where it's like, well, did you take that cookie? Well, no. Well, what did it just jump out of the cookie jar on its own? Yes.
Did I eat it? Yes. Like that's
yeah.
John Cena.
He had not.
Yes.
Rock just spent weeks talking about wanting someone's soul.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the show, nothing was going to happen and he wasn't going to do anything through Mania?
That's why it was going to be. That was why it was going to be the second segment of the show. It was the second. That's why it was scheduled for the second segment.
So what was going to happen?
The look on Alvarez's face when he was saying that was the look on everybody's face ever when they listen to Dave Meltzer talk.
It's a look on my face right now. My God.
Happen. Cena or
I figure he would do something.
He was just going to show up and say, "Nope, you don't get my soul," and Rock was just going to go away, and that was going to be it.
He was probably going to cut a promo on Cody in some form.
To build what?
To build.
Allegedly, he was just disappearing the next day and not doing Mania.
To build the turn that would happen at Mania.
He was going to cut a promo on Cody to build a turn at Mania involving another guy, and he wasn't going to be at Mania.
Well, he probably would have been at Mania for that.
But we just said he wasn't going to be at Mania, and you'd always been told he wasn't going to be at Mania.
Yeah, because the whole thing was thrown together at the last minute.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense.
I love Alvarez. I'm sorry. I'm a Brian Alvarez fan at this point.
Sometimes he turns me, but guys, that's Dave for you. I am like in shock at how dumb he was there, because on the one hand, stick to the Rock was never going to be at WrestleMania because that was what he reported, and on the other hand, he has to try to defend Dwayne. By the way, guys, it's Dave LaGreca.
But man, it is. You guys put your
okay, and here, give me a second.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. And here is Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Is that his mom? They're not even mom. That's like sisters. That's like his sister, right?
That is Dave LaGreca in a wig. That's Dave LaGreca and Mrs. Doubtfire or Tootsie.
Yeah. She even has the glasses, yeah.
Dave LaGreca really wants to hang out with his kids after the divorce, so he has to become Sally Jesse Raphael, a talk show host. Oh, my goodness.
The Rock will never allow Dave LaGreca to interview him, but I do love Sally Jesse Raphael.
All right, we gotta get to some super chats. We gotta see if we can get to this second clip.
We do have a palate cleanser tonight too, by the way. The one we missed last week. So.
I'm aware.
No, I was letting them know so they didn't leave. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want them to run away now.
Let's see. John Williams for $5 says, TK, wait, my AEW is being moved because of a Marvel movie? They told me it was Time Cop. Tony will 100% step aside for Time Cop. Andre Adams for $4.99. Imagine David Attenborough narrating a TK Meltzer conversation. Oh my God. John Williams for $9.99 says, my girlfriend. Yes, I have a girlfriend, Brian. She talked about all these old people, though. If you asked what's hurting AEW are all those rappers. Deborah Dollface for $2 says, Dave's face looks like it's growing its own mask. Yeah, it does. It looks like a tiki mask. It looks like one of those like war masks. Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says PSA of Trips and Tony, and underneath lists the pros and cons of drug use, the pros of not using under Trip and the cons of using under Tony. That is also true. Triple H kept his nose clean and doesn't even drink alcohol. Like Triple H was just high on life, and he was the guy that pretty much kept the clique alive for most of the time together.
Yes. Triple H never used any drugs that would harm his mind.
Correct.
He may have used something else, but
well, no, there were definitely other chemicals running through his body and specifically muscles, probably entering through the buttocks. But Regina shot for $5 says Dave Meltzer has the brain of the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. You had the brains all along. Denver Dollface for $5 says Kevin Apollo is Josh Hutchins' Black Frankenstein in the upcoming Swan Song by Robert McCammon's series adaptation. This can be Artie Wisco. I don't get any of those references.
I mean, yeah, nothing.
But I'm sure they're great. Kev, did you get that?
Sure, it's hilarious. Kev's dead.
Oh, so. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted.
Did you get those references?
I did not understand those references, Dean.
Wow, it's rare that you get one where you don't understand the references.
Yeah, I didn't though.
Forever Runner for $2 says only if it's the one with the robot and kid, Marv. So that brings us to $320. So we are $80 away. I don't think we're making it tonight, guys. And I'm not gonna like be nice and be like, oh, you get it anyway. No, we don't play that game here. John Williams for $2. Versus 322 says, I'm all natural El Grande. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. All right. What else do we have? Oh, Dis, do you want to rant about this patch thing?
Oh yeah, Ken, you're letting me. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm go nuts, my friend, because this is your soapbox issue.
Okay, I'm not gonna read through all this, but I did want to show you how ridiculous the people are about just crashing out over the fact that WWE is having new people who debut on WWE television in the main roster wear patches now. And the idea is that they wear patches so that they can put them in onto a Topps trading card that then goes into, the card sets. So it's a nice thing to do for the people, right? It's a nice thing to do. I'll go through a little bit of it, I guess. So Roxanne interrupts the Raw match on Monday. She had no match. This was her only appearance on the show. Yet somehow she got a Raw debut patch and it got attached to her gear. Yes, we can make excuses for this. She was going to face Io, but Stephanie interrupted her, etc. But what about when it happens next time? Someone from NXT interrupts a Raw or SmackDown segment. The next time, etc., etc. These excuses will run thin. So they're saying that this patch is worse than the Unreal documentary, which I believe all of us kind of said we don't really care about the Unreal documentary either, right?
Which is the Unreal documentary? Is that the writer's room thing?
Yeah, the writer's room show. Yeah. We were all kind of like whatever about that. Well, let's take a look at this patch. The patch that has the internet in an uproar. Oh. The patch that has made people say they're going to stop watching WWE because it gives away the business. It ruins kayfabe. There it is.
That's it.
That's all it is a tiny little patch they put on her boot.
That ruins kayfabe. Not Mercedes Moné putting out the Monet mag where she switches from work to shoot every other paragraph.
How about this? The fact that you're using the word kayfabe is ruining kayfabe.
Yeah. That is proof that kayfabe is dead. The fact that you know that it's called kayfabe.
The fact that they announced they called the show Big Business before they announced that Mercedes Moné was going to be there, right? That's not ruining kayfabe. That patch on the top of that boot is ruining kayfabe. Mm-hmm. It is not an excuse to show her butt, Ryan Damon. We can take it down though. That's just a pet peeve that I have. I can't believe
people are looking for. People are looking for any excuse to go at WWE over stuff right now, I think. So,
especially after WrestleMania, anytime they do something big, it seems like people go after them harder. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Forever Runner for $2 says, AKA Time Cop, the T2 edition. Regina Shot for $5 says a $5 because someone made a reference more niche than mine usually are. Yeah, it was impressive. Let's see, CWJ 128 for $2. This is the one I wanted to get to. Any thoughts on the 40K seats at SummerSlam? Okay, here's the thing about the 40K seats at SummerSlam. The thing was going on that WWE is charging $40,000 a seat for SummerSlam. No, $40,000 is like the top of the top, like all the VIP treatment, all the extra events. It's like the ultimate like VIP made for millionaires and billionaires. You know,
it's a travel package too. You get travel, you get
hotel,
VIP meet and greets, you get hotel, and both nights. That's 2 nights of SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's not like they're charging $40,000 just to sit in the crowd at SummerSlam. I don't like that kind of started making the rounds today because it was really dumb.
Yeah, and also too, those are for their corporate packages too. This isn't blue collar Bob trying to get up close at SummerSlam. They're going to give me $40K. This is for people who have the money to burn, who will write it off in their taxes.
It's for the entourage of the Saudi prince. It's like
it's so that they can make sure that all of their shots when they take, when they're shooting the ringside area has famous people in it. I mean, that's really, they want to get this, those people there, and this is how you do it, or that's how you make sure at least that you're not getting green shirt guy in the front row.
Okay, can we talk about that for a second? Does anyone know who that guy is or what he does for a living? Or he's got to be like some rich guy's son, right? That just like doesn't work.
There was a picture of him from, I don't know if it was WrestleMania or the week before, but where he was actually in the timekeeper's booth. So he may work for them. I am not sure either way. I will say Sign Guy was at the TNA show I went to. Remember Sign Guy?
Sign Guy.
ECW Sign Guy?
Was he in ECW? I don't know. I know he was around during the Attitude Era.
Not Dudley Sign Guy, but like in the crowd.
Oh yeah, in the crowd Sign Guy. Yeah, the guy who wore the blue shirt all the time and the red hat backwards. Yeah, he was a good guy.
We always get the green shirt guy and the guy dressed like the Macho Man.
Oh, we might have an answer from chat if you want to look at it.
Oh, what do they say? Heard he was related to someone that works for the company. I think a ref.
It's a super chat,
okay,
so you can just bring it up if you want. John Williams.
John Williams is relative of a WWE official. Thank you, John Williams. Appreciate you clearing that up. That makes a lot more sense. Because I was like, what does this guy do for a living that he always has the seat?
Well, who's the rep shirt guy? Because the rep shirt guy shows up in AEW and WWE, and he's always in the first 5 rows. Also, Macho Man, impressive. Asian Macho Man. Who's that?
I just said that.
No, you did. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Max was talking to me. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Like, it's one thing in ECW to have these guys that always sit in the same thing because this is local Philadelphia,
Right.
I don't know, man. So, let's see.
I can't blame him.
Oh,
if I could do it, I'd do it.
Liquid Fox $2 says yes. It was her boot we were looking at in that pic. You put a Y at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are at 343 right now, so we are at about $57 until we can play the next clip. So maybe it's time for the palate cleanser, and then we're going to bring it home, I think, right? Or do we have anything else?
Do you want to do plugs before the palate cleanser? That's what we did before.
No, because then people start leaving.
Well, the idea was that the palate cleanser would keep them here. That was the idea. So they actually have to listen to our plugs.
Oh, well, what do you have to plug this?
Nothing. I didn't know if you did, though.
I don't have anything to plug. I mean, people know where to find me. It's my channel.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to help out. I was using some ant logic that he told me.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was an Ant Evans original
before the show that he was on when he mentioned.
Oh.
So
we're at 348 right now because John Williams just said super fan. Vladimir, though, is just a fan with a lot of money, though he knows someone who runs tickets. Okay, that makes sense too. All right, so we're at 348. We are $52 away from playing another clip. All right, anything else to talk about, or can we go to the palate cleanser?
I think we're good.
All right, let's go to the palate cleanser. Let's see what Neckbeard picked out for us today.
Hosted by Bulldog Bob Brown. And boy, do I have a guest for you today. Matter of fact, I got 2 guests today. Tomorrow night.
Okay, who's this guy?
Bulldog Bob Brown. You don't know Bulldog Bob Brown?
I know that. Not really.
He was a terrible wrestler from the St. Louis area.
Okay.
He was not good. Around the time of like Dick the
big
Bruiser
night.
at that time.
You know, it's in Killarney, Manitoba. We start off there. We've got two tremendous matches. Sudden Impact, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, just back from Mexico and Japan.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that was amazing. Hold on, let's go back.
I'll rewind.
Yeah.
You know, it's in Killarney, Manitoba. We start off there. We've got two tremendous matches. Sudden Impact, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, just back from Mexico and Japan. They're going to be meeting Jerry Morrow, the WFWA Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, and the former wrestling champion himself, The Natural. And then, of course, the big showdown, Chi-Chi Cruz versus Bulldog Bob Brown. But let's get right into it. You know, Chris Jericho.
Wait, yeah, isn't that you?
He's acting like it's not. I don't understand.
It's on the cue card that somebody else was probably supposed to read.
Okay.
He's Ron Burgundy. If you put something on the cue card,
damn it,
Bulldog Bob Brown will read it.
WFWA Heavyweight Wrestling Champion and the former wrestling champion himself, The Natural. And then, of course, the big showdown, Chi-Chi Cruz versus Bulldog Bob Brown. But let's get right into it. You know
what? Good for him. He didn't even realize, like, if he realized that he just said his own name as if he was a different person, he didn't show it.
But then if he is just reading from cue cards, though, why did he call The Natural the wrestling champion? Was that on the cue card?
Probably.
He's the wrestling champion.
Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, I'm going to go to you now. What would it be like when you get up tomorrow morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, we got Jerry Morrow.
Why does Jericho look like Miami Vice cool, and Lance Storm looks like he's about to get his first Holy Communion or try to tell me about all the wonders of the Mormon faith?
I was gonna say Lance Storm looks like the bully from Encino Man, is what in that picture.
Have you heard of the good word of Joseph Smith from Calgary, Alberta, Canada?
And we got The Natural in Killarney, Manitoba.
Well, you know, Bob Brown, when you get up in the morning, it's just like every other day, right? You get out of bed and you do your thing.
Oh, this is like Canadian accent Jericho still.
I was gonna
before
say
he worked it out of his voice.
Yeah, his voice hasn't changed.
But as everyone knows, the daytime is a fine time, but the nighttime is the right time. And tomorrow night in
What?
You heard the man.
The daytime is a fine time, but the nighttime is the right time.
Killarney, we're going to be facing two very tough individuals. The Natural, he's making a name for himself. He's an ex-champion, of course. And Jerry Moore, I don't have to say anything more about him. And we're going to step in that ring with those boys, and we're going to do our best to defeat them because, you know, they're tough. But I think we've gotten a little bit more experience and a little bit more tougher ourselves. We've been around a little bit more now, and I think we can do it.
What about you, Lance Storm?
Well, they're two great single athletes, but I don't know how they're going to work as a team. Chris and I have been a team practically our whole career.
Does he have a rat tail?
He does.
Yes, he did. He has got something back there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to see it so bad. It's all I want to see now.
Hey, turn around. Get up and turn around.
Too.
Come out on top. You know, I'm not belittling them. They're both really great single athletes, but I don't know if they can work in a team. And I think that's where Chris and I are going to come out on top.
Well, let me remind you one more thing. We know your trip was successful in Mexico. We know your trip was successful in Japan. But let me remind you two young guys that Mexico and Japan is nothing compared to Canada and the United States when it comes to wrestling. You know that...
Oh, no. Bulldog Bob Brown is throwing the gauntlet down.
Uh-oh. Don't play this for Dave Meltzer.
Oh, Bulldog Bob Brown is a hack.
I mean, he is. He is.
Jerry Morrow, and I, by the way, talked to him this morning, and The Natural. I can tell you this, you guys, that they're out to get you, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm on their side.
Well, Bob, you know, that doesn't surprise me. They're out to get us, that's fine. You know, they've been following us. I've faced The Natural many times all across since last year when I first came to the territory, and Jerry Morrow too. And I'm telling you, they're tough boys. Both of them. They know their business. They know what they're doing. They know how to use their fists inside of that ring. But like Lance was saying, we're a team. We've gotten a little bit more closer and closer every single time we step into that ring. We're getting better every time, and we're getting more experience every time. And tomorrow night, we're going to put that experience to use. And I think Jerry Morrow and the Natural are going to be in for a little bit of a surprise because they're the king dogs around here. They're the big fish in the little pond around here. But we're coming swimming through just like a shark, baby.
Well, one last thing before we go to our next guest.
Just like a shark, baby.
Why is it just me, or should they be letting Lance Storm talk instead of Chris Jericho at this point?
Probably.
I'm not saying that Lance Storm ended up being a better talker than Chris Jericho, but at this point, Chris Jericho seems like he's just repeating stuff he heard Rock and Roll Express say 10 years ago, and Lance Storm is actually making sentences.
Hold on. John Williams with $50. Oh, Scott, no mention of my new official YouTuber channel. Holla if you hear me. Come on. Oh, I love the Scott Steiner ex-cat. Rick Steiner is now on Twitter as well. By the way, guys, just to let you know, John Williams here just put us over the 400 mark, so we will play another clip at the end of this, so stay tuned. Thank you very much, John Williams. That was super generous of you. Thank you, my friend. Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic. All right, let's keep going.
What would it take on behalf of you two guys to defeat Natural and Jerry Morrow tomorrow night?
It's going to take a lot of teamwork. It's going to take a lot of talking. It's going to take a lot of down deep toughness and determination. And I think we're bubbling over with determination, Daddy-O.
Well, wrestling fans, that's Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. I can tell you this much. They're in.
Look at his face.
I love the camera switch. Simple talk about bro.
Oh my gosh, I love this guy. I want to see more of him.
You have to get that mug right in the middle, right
for a big battle starting tomorrow night. Now, without any hesitation, let's bring in one of their opponents. You know, I talked to Jerry Morrow this morning, but we got the Natural himself, the WFWA former Canadian heavyweight wrestling champion. Come on in, Natural.
Oh, let's see him.
Hasn't anybody heard of light balance? They look like they're sitting at the epicenter of Judgment Day.
Who is the Natural? Who is the Natural?
I don't know. I've been wondering this since he ran down the card.
He looks like Eric Watts.
The only thing natural about this is the natural light that they're letting in through the windows to light this promo, because that's direct sunlight.
It doesn't look like he's picking him up by the scuff of his neck. Or you switch the frame there, but
see that everyone stands up to accord me the.
Oh, it's Cyrus!
Callis?
Oh, it's Cyrus!
I was literally just that's Don Callis.
Yeah, that's Cyrus. Oh my gosh!
The second he opened his mouth.
Yep. Well, the mullet got.
Oh, I didn't even see the chat was saying it. I didn't even see. I realized it the second he spoke.
Proper respect that I deserve. Well, you know, Bob, thank you for having me on the show, and I'm very pleased to be out here with a couple of guys who I consider to be the #1 tag team, the hottest tag team going anywhere in the world today. And I'm talking about Sudden Impact. Jericho, you're looking more like Miss Kitty every day. Easy. I was just going to say, Jericho, that you remind a lot of people of Shawn Michaels, who's a great athlete. And you, of course, second-generation athlete yourself, spectacular wrestler. Lance Storm, Canada's version of Scott Steiner, the master of the suplex. You two are like a couple of acrobats in the ring, you know. You see them do their somersault suplexes and their shooting star presses, their flips, their cartwheels. They're like a couple of acrobats from the circus, like a flying Wallendas maybe. Well, gentlemen, you're not in the ring.
This is not moving me so far, Cyrus. You got a lot better over the years.
I'm opposite. I am looking at this and I'm like, this man got something. Like if I had to come in here and tell you which one of these three was going to be the star, I'd pick Don Callis.
Bulldog Bob Brown.
Well, he was already a star, Marv.
Against Pompero Flippo and all that inferior competition that you fought on the TV taping. You're a couple of hot dogs. And what I think, you want to be a couple of acrobats. Try being acrobats with Jerry Morrow, the Canadian heavyweight champion, and myself. And you're going to find out that it's going to be like working without a net. One mistake, and it's 1, 2, 3.
Well, I can tell you one thing, wrestling fans out there, starting tomorrow night. You know, I've been around for 20 years, but I'll tell you, if there ever was going to be an explosion, you talk about the...
Why did he have to flex about how long he's been around?
The sudden impact, Chris Jericho, Lance Storm against Jerry Morrow and The Natural. What can I tell you? And if that's not enough, you know the big battle, Chi-Chi Cruz versus Bulldog Bob Brown.
Hey, let me tell you one thing, Bob Brown. Just let me interrupt you like you interrupt me so many.
What the heck?
Who's the heel? Like Jericho's playing the face the entire time, and then all of a sudden he turns to a heel. Bulldog Bob Brown is somehow still a wrestler. He looks like he really doesn't like being touched. Though every time somebody gets near him, he scrunches up and his neck goes
swings.
Yeah.
Times we're going to be watching out for Chi-Chi Cruz. We're going to be watching his back because we know what you two bums did to Cheech, and he's a good friend of both of ours, and we're going to be there guarding his back. And Natural, you're into acting. We'll get ready for Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3.
Well, I can tell you what, I guarantee you, he won't forget it for a long time. Well, all I can tell you is this, Chi-Chi Cruz, you got your hands full.
All right, do we have to watch this part too?
I don't. Beard sent it to me. I don't know. I don't watch.
All right, I think we're good. I think we're good. I like the Jericho. It was good. I think we got to get to the actual clip.
If we didn't break the threshold, we would have played the rest of it.
Probably. Let's see. Where was I on this? Scarecrow, Wizard of Oz. There's a thing. All Natural, La Grande, Time Cop, Fiverr. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. John Williams $9.99 says relative of WWE official. We saw that one. Superfan Vladimir though is just a fan with a lot of money, though he knows someone who runs tickets. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says here's a $2.50 IOU. Play clips now.
Yes. No. Yes. You accept that, Marv, because now he owes you $250.
That's actually true.
Yeah. Accept it. It's accepted.
Burnout Media for $1.99 says love you, Marvin. Thanks for the content. Love you, Burnout Media. Thank you very much, my friend. All right, guys, you ready to see some more? You know what? I am gonna hold Liquid Fox to that IOU, and I'm gonna play both clips.
Wow.
How about that?
I respect that. I respect that. You just really want to play that last one.
I really do.
And I get it. Don't worry.
All right.
I was
here we go.
Try to get you to just play that one. So.
Yes, the LOL meant joke. No. The deal is struck, my friend.
Stop talking about your Hall of Fame induction. Hey, it's a huge honor to be asked to join such hallowed company. But you're the one who decides who goes in the Hall of Fame. I sure do. And you nominated yourself? Yeah, we did one of those videos where we show the guy getting ass like the one we did for Luger. Want to see? No. Roll it. Hey, me. It's me. Oh, hey, me. Listen, me. I was talking to me, and I was wondering if you'd do me the honor of headlining the Hall of Fame, me, class of 2025. What? Oh, wow. I can't believe this. What an honor. Thank you, me. Oh, I'm so grateful to me. How grateful are you? Well, pretty damn grateful. Why don't you get over here and show me, you muscly hunk of me? Oh, me. Stop it! Stop the footage right now! Whoa, wait, we were just about to get to the sledgehammer. No, you don't understand. The sledgehammer is another one of my sexual... No, I get it. I promise you I get it. And I wish I didn't. It's just wild to me that you're actually the second craziest, most wildly and stupidly oblivious guy that I know. Wait, who was the first? Oh, speak of the idiot.
TK. Tooney Town.
Huh? Where is he? Are you trying to play me off the stage with production music, Jobber Monster? Because me assured me that wasn't going to happen. No, I just... look, if he's not coming out with just stop the damn music... I have no idea what happened there, folks, but as you all know, that music usually means we're about to be joined by Tooney Khan. Say his name and he appears. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I believe in Tooney Khan. Why is this happening? I believe in Tooney Khan, because he owns wrestlers in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Shahid Khan.
Wait, what?
I believe in Tooney Khan.
That's better.
No, stop it. Oh, R.I.P. my ad revenue on this one.
All right, that's clip number 2. Yes, it's a running gag. So the sledgehammer thing connects to a previous joke in there. By the way, Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian. There's only 248 left to go. Didn't say all at once.
I had to mute myself because I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, good. All right. So, okay, here we go. Last clip.
Oh, and you just pulled the worst rating of the year on Dynamite.
Ah, but how many people were watching on Max?
I have no idea.
Well, according to some dweeb on the internet, we have more than 500,000 weekly Max viewers.
And what about according to you and the WBD?
Oh, I don't know the Max numbers.
That is such a crock.
It's true! The Max numbers are kept in a large box, buried in the desert of Tanis, hidden within a chamber called the Well of Souls. I tried to retrieve them, but the chamber was full of snakes. Oh, why did it have to be snakes? Then, my lady friend and I were ambushed, and the numbers were stolen. And when they were opened, everyone's face melted off! Don't look, Marion!
That's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
What? No, it's not.
Tooney, where are the numbers?
They're being looked after by top men.
Stop quoting Indiana Jones.
Get off my plane.
That's Air Force One.
Look, your worshipfulness.
Ah!
You're just mad that the concrete numbers are on my side.
The concrete numbers that no one sees because it melts their faces off?
The very same.
Absolutely no one believes that Dynamite gets 500,000 viewers on Max every week, except maybe the people who desperately want to believe it because you made them feel like part of something for the first time in their miserable, sweat-soaked, Cheeto dust-coated lives, and they can't handle the fact that this thing they devoted so much of their time and attention to is failing.
But the numbers
are fake. The only ones still touting those numbers are you and Dave Meltzer.
Say his name and he appears.
Fuck!
I believe Dave Meltzer. I believe Dave Meltzer, because he makes up shit in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. I believe Dave Meltzer. You know, I believe Dave Meltzer.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
No more of this.
I didn't notice Marv doing the fingers for the beats at the last.
It's a running gag. Comedy comes in threes, ladies and gentlemen. That was so after I had the thought about Tripp doing it, I immediately thought like, oh my gosh, could you imagine if like Dave pops in and just the second he says it, I just go, fuck. And that was the thing that made me laugh so hard while I was writing.
I play Mark. This is a compliment to you. You sent me the songs earlier in the week, and while I was listening to him, Max came out and listened to him. Now Max is a Joe Hendry fan, but he not only doesn't, he's watched a few Headlock Headlines, but he doesn't really understand it because it's a little adult, right?
It is.
And he doesn't really he doesn't know who Tony Khan is. He doesn't know who Dave Meltzer is. He thought that was the funniest thing he had ever heard in his life.
Oh, good.
Those songs. So it transcends knowing who they are. As long as you know who Joe Hendry is.
I just hope Joe Hendry is a good sport. I hope he enjoys the ad.
He will love this. If he sees it, he will love it. I assure you.
I hope somebody sends it to him when it goes up. So it goes up on YouTube a week from today. So it'll go up on next Tuesday at 9 a.m. and I'm gonna watch it with everyone. We'll do a whole premiere for it. But then it's out now for the top tier patrons on the top two, and then Smart Marks get it on Thursday, and then everyone else gets it on Tuesday. So I figure they get 1 week of exclusive access to the stuff. But yeah, glad you guys liked it. There's a lot more. It's a 20-minute long episode. So yeah, there's a whole lot of yelling and screaming in this one. But I figured for clips, the Joe Hendry gig had to be the thing. And I didn't want to spoil it in the thumbnail either. The original idea for the thumbnail was like everyone standing there with the guitars on the Scottish Highlands. And then I was like, nah. It's patreon.com/Tooney Town Wrestling if you guys want to go check that out. All right, guys, anything else we have to discuss tonight?
No, I think we're good. Kev,
no clips to get. Kev?
No.
All right.
I miss
guys,
Awful. I miss Awful. I will say
I
that.
did too.
Shout out to Awful.
I did too. He didn't want to see clips anyway because he wanted to see the whole thing, at once.
And that's true, by the way. He messaged me before the last time when you just kind of sent the script in the group chat. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a message that was like, "Man, I wish you would have done that. I love watching these things live." So he wasn't BSing you. That's 100% true.
Yeah. So now I just send it to you and Beard, like, privately, so that Awful doesn't get spoiled. All right. Thank you to everyone tonight who chatted, everyone who super chatted, everyone who just watched. We appreciate you guys. Be sure to join us. So there's no game stream because I will be driving for forever tomorrow. I'm going on a road trip tomorrow, and then Tooney Talk TV, however, should be in its regular night and time on Thursday. Just so we'll see you guys back here on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for more Tooney Talk Wrestling, and on Tuesday morning you guys can see the new episode of the Headlock Headlines, episode 21. Thank you guys very, very much. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here.
Now, Perry the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you! Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing. Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you. Ooh, yeah!
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks? For what?
Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooney Town. Thank you!
And viewers like you. Thank you.